Hello, and welcome back to the Pretty Little Podcast. We're your hosts.
My name is Phoebe.
My name is Caroline, and today we are recapping season 5, episode 11 of Pretty Little Liars called No One Here Can Love or Understand Me.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Third time's
Absolutely
the charm.
nailed this one.
Guys, I know that seems like an absolutely bonkers crazy title for an episode because, well,
It is.
But I did look it up, and it is a line from the song Bye Bye Blackbird by Etta James. So we'll get into that. I don't have my notes with me because I'm just, you know what? It's way too early in the show to say the word raw dog. So I was going to say I'm just raw dogging this part, but then I realized it hasn't been 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you still said it anyway twice.
Wait, what? Oh, how are ya?
It's been actually not even 2 minutes.
Oh my God. Okay. Edgy era.
I know. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. You're back home.
Yeah, I am.
Well, so Phoebe was in Charleston. I feel like I haven't talked to you in ages because actually we haven't talked in like over a week because Phoebe's computer shit the bed. We got on to record this week, you guys, and her computer dropped from 14% to 6% while charging. And we've been dealing with this for a little bit, and so it just finally was time.
And I will say that moment, I got the new computer and I had brought my computer, my old computer in my backpack to give to them. I knew it didn't have any trade-in value to it. So I wasn't like getting it for money, but I was like, I don't need it. I'm just going to get rid of it. But my words in my hands went faster than my brain and my heart. And I got that computer in my hand and I handed it over and I was like, oh my God.
I know.
Should I give it that? Can I give this away? So without any care in the world and restore it to factory settings?
Kind of a crazy thing to do.
Why?
That's actually crazy. I could never do that.
Well, I think it helps that I had just updated it and it basically made me make an entirely new
It also
thing.
probably helps that you have like external hard drives and you back up everything. Not to use raw dog again. I am raw dogging it.
But
I'm like, I don't know where
the cloud, right?
I guess. I'm like, I don't know where any of this shit is. When I'm looking for it, I'm like, it is honestly in the ether somewhere. It's anyone's at this point. I don't know. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the air and space. Like
it would be crazy if you did that.
It would be crazy if I did that. Yeah.
I would turn my head if I saw Caroline do that.
What does that mean?
I'd be like, I would turn my head.
Like you would be like, you would do like a double
turner.
take, or you would like look away? Oh, I thought you meant like you would look away and be like, I can't watch this happen.
No,
but don't worry, I'll never put you in that position. Don't worry, I will never make you come to the Genius Bar with me to turn in my computer for a new one.
Perfect.
But how is the new computer? Do you feel like a new bitch?
Gorgeous. I was watching YouTube in bed last night.
What were you watching?
Oh, I don't know.
Guys, well, haven't you? This is actually an ad. Haven't you heard? Our very first video podcast is available on YouTube. And so when we couldn't record a new episode, I said, I will give you a fucking gift. And it really is a gift because we're going to get like 15 views on this thing, like at most. and 14 of them will be you in bed, drunk, watching yourself.
Myself. Yeah, that's what I did. And I was making myself laugh. I sent Caroline a selfie. But anyway, the computer's gorgeous.
Is it black?
Yeah, it's called Space Black, so it's a little darker. They did get rid of the like touch bar at the top, which is I used a lot while I was editing. So it's gonna mess up my flow a little bit, but that's fine. But it is
You're learning and
that
growing.
it's a little thicker. Like I like the shape of it more. It's square. But yeah, I'm a fan. I'm excited about it. It's making me like, I didn't use my computer at all other than for this. And now I like want to. And I was watching actually, well, and I can cast to my TV now.
Oh,
from
nice.
Hulu. And before I couldn't do that. Like I used to, Hulu, maybe it's a difference in Hulu, but my computer definitely couldn't do it.
I'm glad you got a new computer. That is awesome. I feel like I have 1,000,001 things to talk to you about. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to kind of get going here.
Okay.
Stop holding me back, okay?
All right. There's a lot on our note, actually.
I know, because it's been so long since we've spoken. Oh my God, okay, so I was in Chicago for the 4th of July when Phoebe graciously took over socials. And I was seeing my friend Addie's show called Millennial Cringe at the IO Theater. It was so funny. It's like a sketch comedy show. And she and her friend Maya wrote this together. And she was like, you're going to love Maya. I really think like you guys have a similar kind of vibe. She said, this is how she described it, which I think is kind of funny. She was like, when you meet me and you say like, hi, I'll be like, hi, oh my gosh. And I'll like kind of talk a little bit. And she's like, if you meet Maya and you say, hi, she's going to say, hey, and wait for you to say something. And she was like, I think you'll love her. Cool. So I meet her. I did love her immediately. But she wrote a sketch in this show, Phoebe, where she's sitting down and she is recording an apology video as a millennial influencer. And she's talking about how, you know, she's apologizing for something she said. I don't even remember. And then she goes, okay, but can we talk about something real? Can we talk about skinny shaming? And she goes into this whole thing about if she turns to the side, she disappears. People are always saying to her, like, oh my God, you need to eat something. She's gifted shirts and she's swimming in it. Like, I'm like, oh my God. And what's so funny about this joke is that she, like us, has a womanly figure. And so I noticed something really interesting is that people
Some
are
people
watching
didn't know
this.
if they could laugh.
Yes. And I was like, whoa, this is different, because when people listen to us make this joke, like Phoebe and I are laughing so hard and it is so funny. And I know that people listening are also laughing, but like it was so funny because we're in the room and everyone is looking at her saying all of this.
Because they're
and
probably, and I love this about us, there are probably some people that are listening that are like,
I know, yeah.
What is their shame?
Yeah, what do they look like? Yeah, and you'll never know. You'll literally never know.
Are these jokes okay?
Yeah,
but nothing will. I mean, I know that every time we bring up like this joke in a breaking the fourth wall kind of sense, and nothing will beat when how the joke originated.
I know, and I loved telling this story, but then I'm like, some things get lost in translation. I don't know if it has the exact same effect, because to some people it's actually not that funny at first. Like, and we're like, oh, we're finding levity in things that are tough. But it was just so interesting because everyone is watching her do this and they're like really not sure if they should laugh. And she just keeps going. And I was like, this is like a social experiment, because I was full like belly laughing because I was like, well, I'm allowed to laugh. But it's like, well, why is it funny? You know, that if you're gonna laugh, you have to acknowledge why you're laughing.
Caroline's like, it's funny because it's my joke.
It's funny because I wrote it. No, but and Gibson and I were like literally, and Kelly, all three of us were like crying laughing because they're both in on the joke. Like they know that we make the joke all the time. So they're cracking up. They're like, holy shit, it's the same.
Was
joke.
Addie anticipating that when she said that you two were going to get along? Like, did she know?
No, she doesn't know that's a joke. She doesn't listen. No. And I was just laughing so I mean, it was hilarious. And then she's like, oh, I'm getting a message from, it's like Boomer69 or something. You're not skinny, you're fat, fuck you. Okay, no, I'm not. Anyway, she just like keeps going. She goes, okay, no, I'm not. I'm actually extremely skinny, thank you. So anyway, and she just like keeps going, and it was hilarious. The whole show is so funny. I really want to get a taping of like that particular sketch if I can't get the whole thing. I thought it was really smart the way they did the jokes about like the different divides, because it is so funny. And it's like, yeah, the things that millennials were doing were like fucking psychotic and can't be done now. And Gen Z's like, you guys are so fucking stupid. Like,
but we also now have Gen Z people romanticizing like two eras of like 2014, like the Tumblr era, but then also the like dog filter on Snapchat and the like big frappuccinos. Like I get TikToks on my For You page that are like, oh, what I would have given to be 16 and like this being, and get to send so many selfies with the original dog filter.
Get to do a cut crease like, every day. Wait, okay. Have you heard about and like I didn't know if I was gonna want to bring this up because I'm not as good at laughing at myself all the time. Shocker, I know. Phoebe's good at it. we know Caroline struggles a little bit more. Whatever. Okay. I'm sensitive. Sorry, I'm a feeler. Anyway, sorry, I'm in touch with my emotions. Sorry, I'm in therapy. Okay, I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
This went quickly from
turned into a roast,
a compliment of me, into a roast of me.
It turned into me doing a cry for help for Phoebe. Come on, Phoebe, please go to therapy. Come on, everyone's got to do it.
I will, but I will say, I was having this conversation with my friends last night. No, I mean, I wasn't talking about therapy, but it is someone. I went on a walk with my friend Laura in Charleston, and she was talking about her relationship with her therapist. And then she was like, "So do you go?" And I was like, I don't. But I did. I brought up what you said and how, and it sits in the back of my mind and not enough to push me into action. But I do think about it, and the way that you talked about, like, you don't get therapy you don't get therapy because everything's falling apart. You get therapy so you have it when things do fall apart. And I do think about that sometimes. But we were talking last night, and I was like, I think the reason I've been crying so much, like, not crying in a sad way, but like everything makes me cry. Like, I was watching the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader documentary, which, by the way, can someone break down for me what was so bad about it? And that I was watching it while I was working, so I wasn't like really like locked in. So I may have missed some really drastic things, but I walked away from it not like thinking it was like the craziest thing in the world.
I can't wait to see the 1-star review that talks about how Phoebe didn't see anything problematic with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader documentary, and how problematic that makes her. Guys, get down, boots on the ground. Go write that review, quick.
I did see that there was something wrong. Like, I obviously, in a system like that, there are innately things wrong.
Yeah,
but I wasn't like, I was also kind of like, these environments exist.
What did you expect?
I was like, I didn't. These are, and especially the women like that are leading it. It's like, these are Texas pageant. They were cheerleaders. Like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think it was as like.
I think you just probably thought that we were all like aware. Like, you're like, wait, we all didn't know that's what was happening. But also, I think you grew up in a theater household, and that's how people fucking talk to you when you're in theater.
Did you watch it?
Like, no, I didn't watch it, but I saw and maybe I will, but I saw some clip on TikTok that was like, about weight, just talking about weight, and it's like in a very like clinical kind of way they're discussing it. Yeah, and it's like, I know that seems crazy, and it is crazy, and it is fucked up, but what do you mean you didn't know that's how it was? Like,
I think
I've
maybe
talked
that is what
at
it is.
length at like the way that when you are in theater, your body is no longer like yours. Like, it doesn't feel like it's yours. When you're in a fitting, you stand there still, you don't talk, and you have 6 people standing around you, touching
just
you,
saying
prodding
everything
you,
about how you look.
Yes, talking about your body as if it is not attached to someone like, who's like taking in everything you're
and
fucking
thinking
saying.
about it all.
And then people are walking in the room and they're like, oh, does it look weird around our hips? Should we do, like, you know?
It's one thing. I just think with this organization specifically, it really didn't shock me because it's like the Rockettes in a way. Like, they are such a staple, and there is a physicality to it, and that's what it.
You cannot audition if you're not between 5'6" and 5'9". I think you have to be between that height, or you can't even audition. It's like, and that's also, I always say this to my students, and like, if you're a theater person listening, this is just a really, really good example of how like 95% of the time you're not going to get the role, and it's not going to be because you're not talented. It's not going to be because you should have sang a different song or whatever. It's because you walked in the room and they needed somebody who was 5 inches taller than you because they already have the costume, and the person who's playing your love interest is this certain height, and they that is literally what's happening. And so if you think of it like that, like I always say, when you go to a callback, a lot of times my kids will go to callbacks and they'll be like, hey, if you got a callback, you're already in the show. Like, so don't stress, you're in. We just don't know where we're putting you yet. And my kids will still freak out about, now it's like getting the ensemble is the equivalent of being cut, and oh my God. And I was like, you need to chill out, because think of it like this. They already have all the puzzle pieces in their puzzle. Like, they now know they have everything they need. It's just a matter of like, where do they fit now? And it really does not matter how good you are because they already know you're good. Everybody here is good.
Right.
But it's like, does your puzzle piece fit in with the puzzle piece of who needs to play your sister, who we already have? Like that is really what it comes down to sometimes. And that can be a very freeing way.
Totally.
It's frustrating, but if you get past that, it can also be very freeing.
I could see that in a lot of the girls who were getting cut is that the way that they would explain it to them was like, you don't fit this year. And you might be absolutely perfect, but like, or they'd be like, we know that in 7 weeks you could get to this kick height, but we only have 5. So
I mean, and that I think I've said, I don't actually know how much I've talked about it, but like anyone who's going through the college BFA audition process, if you're musical theater or whatever, it's like a similar thing to that. And I mean, granted, I did it 10 years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. It's a really insane process. And for a lot of really big fish in small ponds at home, it's one of the first times they experience really intense rejection. And it's like everyone's a big fish when you're auditioning for certain programs. And I was going to go to a program that I was so excited about. And they had, essentially said, you'll be coming to this program. And they had one more day of auditions. And I get an email the next day from the head of the department. And she's just like, I wanted to let you know before I reached out to everybody because, I had been talking to this woman and mom had been talking to this woman in this school like weekly, like for months now at this point, getting me more money, getting me all these, like, it was like, it seemed like a done deal. And I get this email that's like, we have to cast our classes like we're casting a Broadway show.
Right.
And we don't need 2 curvy blonde hair, blue-eyed girls, unfortunately. And it's like, that's just what it is sometimes. And unfortunately, a lot of girls have my look. So that's something I was going to come up against. But like, they're looking at their season. If they're doing a million shows that I'm not right for, why the fuck would they waste one of their 6 female slots on me?
Yeah.
Because they need somebody to fill a certain role. So it really most of the time is impersonal. But for some reason, I feel like it's become... And this is maybe like I'm getting a little crazy here, but for the outside world who's not in the ring, in the theater ring, in the cheerleading, like, and anything where it's like sports even, where they're talking about your body as if whatever.
It's really jarring to people outside of it. And I think that social media has exacerbated it and that like it's made a lot of these communities feel a lot more accessible to people who, I mean, it's really pulled the curtain back in a lot of ways.
Well, and it's great. Like, honestly, there needs to be more done with the Broadway world in that respect. Like, I'm waiting for the documentary on that, on like taking down college programs. Like, I see it. The writing is on the wall because the thing is, the way that I was trained and taught and spoken to by people, like the director of my theater school telling me at 16 I wasn't getting roles because I wasn't 90 pounds. I would never do that to the kids that I teach. Like that would, I mean,
hopefully it's not happening now.
No, but it's like,
I feel like it is a different
that's not okay.
world.
So I hope it's a different world, and I think it's for the best that like we're shining a light on this. But what I'll also say is, I think for people who are not used to that world, they think it's so much worse. All this body stuff is so much worse than like just not being good enough, and it's like. For the people who are actually doing it, like I would rather you tell me my hips are too big than my voice isn't good enough. Like, but if you're on the outside world, you can't really,
you don't know what that's like to have that attachment
so
to your.
It looks so horrifying, but I imagine that's why for you watching it, like it was a little bit like, well, yeah, but isn't this what you expected? Like it's horrible, but it's not shocking, I think is how we feel. Like, cause believe me, we are not saying it's okay. And I haven't watched it, but like, it's just like, wait, you guys didn't realize that that's what was going on here? Like, I thought we were all on the same page.
I don't think that there's a ton from the girls that like, at the end of the day, if it's someone else's dream, if you find something wrong with it, it's not really your problem. Like,
no, like, yeah.
Like these girls have been dreaming of doing this for their whole life. And this one girl just made a TikTok because people noticed that she wasn't returning this year, and you can be one for 5 years, and that would have been her 5th year. And she was like, I absolutely would, but my hips are shattered. I can't fucking do another year. Like I cannot physically do it again. And most of them would be like, there have been a couple girls that have been like, it's not for me. The environment might not be for you. And that's something to be addressed. But I just think,
when I think there are
some, it's just, I don't know.
Like we hear the term weigh-in and we're like, oh my God, that's diabolical. But wrestlers do it every day. And it's like, we don't really say that about them. You know what I mean? But it's like, if you're making the cheerleaders who are flying in the air do a weigh-in, it's like, well, that genuinely might be a safety thing.
And
like,
especially like, I mean, not that this is right, but I mean, their costumes also like, their costumes have to fit them in a very specific way. So it is like, they need to know what, if 1 week they lose weight and now their shorts are falling off of them, and then 1 week maybe they're a little heavier. It's like, those are things that it is such a they're and I know that it sucks, but like when they put that costume on, they are still a girl, but they are also now an icon. And there's a very specific like idea of what that is. It's kind of like, and I got the sense watching the documentary, for people in Dallas, meeting them is similar to meeting Mickey Mouse. And it's
I
like,
think the culture is like way worse in Dallas, I will say. Like I'm confident that in Dallas it is the worst of the worst. Like I'm sure, you know? And like, I just really don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. Like us talking about this and think that we're saying it's not a problem, because like, because I am
interested in people's opinion. Like I've been trying to do some digging into what the key, because I was kind of late on the train, so I'm starting to get TikToks about it, but like I wasn't getting them initially. But anyway, all this to say,
one question though.
Yeah.
When they're talking about the people's bodies though, here is one important distinction. Are they making like opinionated statements in a negative way? Or are they just saying black and white, like our flyers have to have this, like,
well, they don't really have flyers. There was one comment where, because they're really dancers. They're not really cheerleaders. They are.
Oh, Anthony just texted me, I can't do a week without you ever again.
Cute. There were a couple comments that felt, and I think this might be another thing of, and this isn't right or wrong, but it felt like the Southern expressions being used, and the way that language is used felt, there are definitely nicer ways things could have been said. But honestly, from what I remember, and again, I wasn't locked and loaded the whole time, but the comments I remember being like, I would hate to hear that being said about myself. They also weren't necessarily like, it wasn't 50 girls on the field and they're like, you in the back, you look like you put a little weight on your face. Like it wasn't
right.
It was, we're seeing
I
these
do
conversations.
hate that though. Like, I'm sorry, like weight on your face. That one's a little tough.
Well, yes, they're all tough.
Because it's like, I know, but it's like that one, again, guys, I've not watched it, but like I'd be like, well, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's, because in Disney too, I think we've talked a little about like how in Disney, they will cast you based on your body measurements, because they already have the costumes, and the Pixar Tinkerbell's waist has to be this many inches and the Disney Tinkerbell's waist has to be this many. So we need a different person for each. Like it's very like, I don't know. And I just feel like, like what you're saying, like if it's their dream to do it, I mean, if you want to be a doctor, like, you know what you have to do. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like,
interesting. It's very,
if you want to be a rocket, you know that you have to do a certain thing. Like,
and
so
I think some people look at it, and because to a lot of people, it seems more trivial than being a doctor, which, you know, in a lot of ways it is. But to these girls, it's their dream, and it's something that they've been dreaming of doing since they were really young. And so I think because it's easier to be like, it's not that serious, you have like this, you look at them and you feel like maybe they look like, like they're under some sort of spell, and maybe they are, but that is the case for a lot of jobs. My biggest takeaway problem with it, I think in retrospect, is they're not paid very well. Like it's a part-time job, but the hours.
Wait,
that
that's crazy. Part-time?
They get
okay,
paid,
no, I'm sorry.
They get paid like a flat fee for any appearance in any game day, and then they get paid hourly over that.
Has it always been that way?
Yeah. So like a lot of these girls, some of these girls, it is their dream. So they're like, that's all I do. And I'll do as many they get paid hourly for appearances like out around Dallas. And they're like, I'll do that all day. And that'll be how I make I don't know what the cost of living is like in Dallas either. I'm sure it's, I mean, I don't know that it's like one of the higher ones in the country. It could be. But some other girls have like their day job and then they get to practice, and they get paid hourly for practice too and things like that. But I mean, there's still, I think that was also something I saw that a lot of people were like, I can't believe that's what they're paid.
Is insane. And like, but that also, I'm like, that's fucked up. And you're like, well, it's their dream, they still do it. One of my first acting gig contracts when I was out of school, I got paid $400 every 2 weeks before taxes. And they gave me a place to live, but like,
it's kind of like you give and
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I was like, I don't fucking care. And mom and dad were like, how are you going to live? And I was like, I don't know. Like, but it's my dream job. What do you mean? It's the job I wanted. Like, and it pays me this much money. And that's just what it is. Like, there's no way around it. And so historically, careers in the arts and theater and dance don't pay well. So like that is something that you go into it knowing it, like these things, you know, but the part-time thing is crazy. Like I feel like if I was going to do that, I would need it to be like Rockettes. I think they're full-time with benefits. Like, you know what I mean? Like it would need to be something like that. If you're going to have to,
we got to unionize the cowgirls.
Like well, there's a union for the actors. They should have a union for the cheerleaders. I wonder if there is one. But the other thing I'm going to say is the reason I asked if it's always been like that is because influencing. So I'm like, does that like nowadays it's also giving them this platform because they are these icons. So like are the brand deals, things like that. It probably could be a full-time job.
But I do think I was that wondering with them, if I think this documentary could change that, but they were talking a lot about how they need to be very careful about what they post and everything like this because people in Dallas get really attached to these girls and it can be very dangerous for them. So
that's crazy. Well, it is giving like cult vibes. Like it does sound culty.
We should on the podcast you should watch it. We'll talk more about it because I want to get into like the drama at one point, not just the heavy stuff. Because there is drama now.
I thought you meant Love Island. I was like, been watching.
I didn't finish last night's episode though.
I didn't either yet, but oh my God, what did you think of movie night?
Well, I'm a little pissed at fucking baby Aaron because we didn't get every clip because he had to have a little tantrum. Kayla, love yourself.
I know. Don't you just want to like give her a hug?
But I am like, guys, and I think the internet has gone back on this, but at first people were like, not that I don't love Serena, but people were writing for her as if that relationship was similar to the relationship Aaron and Taylor had. Serena, you waited until the last fucking minute to give him any interest. Of course, as soon as a woman is interested in him, you guys aren't closed off. You haven't given him anything to go on. He's been nothing but patient and sweet with you, frankly.
I think I have to say something though, because I said on the last time we talked about it, I was like kind of hard on Serena for this reason because I love Cordell, and I still think that she gave him nothing. Like I still feel like that, and I felt like she was being like mean to him. Honestly, like I did feel like that. But I'm back in. I fucking love her. I'm Team Serena now, 100%. I love her and Cordell, but here's the thing. That TV we got of her fucking like, that
was crazy.
Can Love Island win an Emmy? Because this season is the editing is absolutely bonkers. But she said the way you did it was so disrespectful, and I have to say,
I agree with that.
That is true because she was moving so slow, and because of it, she was like, I don't want to kiss, and then he embarrasses her like that, but it's like, oh well, he went slow and he was okay with it for Serena, but then as soon as someone was down, it was like, well, is that all that you wanted? So I do understand how like And she was probably embarrassed because of that. Because like it isn't, especially on a show like that, if you are somebody who isn't as into these like stick your tongue down everyone's throat challenges, then it makes you look a certain way. It might make you look prudish, and that might make you feel insecure in a setting like this. And so I could see how that would make me feel humiliated. Like I honestly understood her reaction a lot more once I really heard her out. And I thought but I felt bad when she dumped the breakfast on him.
I know, me too. I was like, girl, can we please dial it back? Maybe just a little bit.
Did you see any of last night's episode?
No.
Because Cordell brings her breakfast and he's like tiptoeing in. And he's like, I'm going to go bring her breakfast and I can actually bring it up now. And he's like so excited and he goes up and he's like tiptoeing in. She goes, get the fuck out of it. And they like make a joke about it.
I do love them. They're I'm glad they've gotten to this space.
The way they dance and laugh.
I don't
like,
understand why Aaron and Cordell didn't just, and Rob told Aaron what to do. He was like, you need to get back on that island. You need to get back on that island and you need to be completely honest with Kaylor before she has to find out.
Yeah.
And like, Aaron,
because Rob's like, look, I've been on this show before, but so is Aaron, so.
Why didn't you just tell the whole truth in the beginning? Because then all of Kaylor's reactions would have gotten out of the way. And by movie night, if she knew everything, it would have sucked for her to watch it, but she wouldn't have been mad at you anymore if you got through it.
Well, and it's like, look how quickly she can't stay mad at you. Every time she gets upset, she bounces back within 15 minutes. So just
get it out of the way.
Get it all out of the way so that she doesn't have to keep being mad at you, because now you know she's going to get over it, but you have to keep going through this. But the way these men acted, like all of them, I'm sorry.
They're acting so fucking skeevy and
Aaron being like
patting each other on the back
and I know. And then Miguel like making all those weird, I was like,
why is he doing? Talking like that?
I got the ick from him when I was
too.
like, he's like sexy, but then he starts doing that. And I was like, wait, I have to also say something though. I did not like, and like, I would love to see the contract for someone who goes on Love Island, because they must have to sign something that says they consent no matter what to kissing anybody on this show, because I thought I would not have been okay with it if we were doing a challenge where you had to kiss everybody blindfolded and they bring another guy in and don't tell any of the girls that it's somebody they don't know and make them make out with them and he can touch them. And like, I'm sorry. And they were all like, who the fuck was it? Like, they were creeped out by it. That would scare the shit out of me. And I think that was like a fucked up challenge, low key. So Miguel coming in, I didn't automatically like love, but I really do like him. And call me crazy, I like kind of like him and Leah. If it's real, I can't tell if he's legit.
I can't tell if because it doesn't seem like he'd go for her.
I know, that's why. But I think maybe he's kind of liked her the whole time.
You're gonna hate this. This is the toxic girl in me. But I would love the storyline if Rob and Leah got back together.
Oh no, you know I would too. And I hate Rob Loki. But okay, here's the thing: not her apologizing to him like that. It was very mature of her and very cool of her to do, but he did not deserve that.
No, not at all. But I like when he was like, sorry, I'm onioning you, and she was like, your onion never worked on me. Yeah. I peeled you really, and he was like, yeah, you peeled me quick, and I was like, oh,
I know.
That is like,
that's what the whole episode, like everything is giving, like it's as if these people scripted it. The music, the editing, like I have chills right now. Okay, fine, I have chills right now.
It's crazy. And Love Island is actually, this speaks to something that I was saying before we started talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Why I brought that up was everything making me cry. And I think I'm reverting back to, as a kid, I think was pretty emotional. I was a crier, and I would cry in every movie I watched. Every commercial I saw would make me cry. And then there was a period of time where I didn't do that. And now I think I'm back.
We're back, baby.
This is going to sound like the conversation that Caroline and I were having abruptly ended. It didn't. I don't want it to sound like Caroline just brushed over that.
All right. Anyway, I want to talk about bar mitzvahs for a second. Okay. I was having a conversation with Tara from Gilmore to say she went to her first bar mitzvah last weekend. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, she did. And she was like growing up, like she was in a very Catholic community, so she never went to any. And I was like, well, there's a very like vibrant Jewish community here in Pittsburgh. And so growing up, I've talked about this, like a lot of my friends were Jewish and were having their bat mitzvahs, and they were all going to the same camp and BBYO, and I just like wanted to be part of it so bad. Like it
didn't help that we went to a Jewish preschool either. Like we were
in
like,
the Jewish community center.
It felt like we were like in the club without being in the club. Not to reduce it to that, but like we were around it a lot, and I think
but we were talking about bar mitzvahs, and I was like, wow, I went to some really crazy, like awesome bat and bar mitzvahs. And one I went to was themed like, it was like a wedding. I mean, it was a wedding. And we were talking about how like, what would you do if you were 13 and essentially told, okay, you can have a wedding? It's like people who have theme weddings as adults because they have the money to have like multiple celebrations. It's like you get to have that theme wedding when you're 13 years old. Someone had a concert at the Hard Rock, and it was like she was doing a tour. They had tickets, all this stuff. I was like, it's literally as if you were like a 13-year-old gets to plan a wedding.
Yeah.
What is it going to be? It's soccer themed. Like, I just think it's so funny and fun to go to like a basketball themed wedding, which is essentially what we're all doing here. Like, I just love it so much. And she was like, it is so funny to like see, because it's literally a 13-year-old's planned this event.
Exactly. It's
how
everything
fun
they've ever wanted.
I know. It's just, so I really hope that, anyone who has been bar or bat mitzvahed, please send photos. I would love to see photos from your
It's
events.
they're kind of like if Ty from Extreme Home Makeover was a party planner.
Yes,
and like
sweet,
said
yes.
that you, like, if you were like, yeah, like, I mean, I guess I'd like to play the guitar one day, and it's like suddenly it's like you're at PPG Paints Arena, and there's like a massive guitar.
Bedroom.
He basically reconstructs the rock and roller coaster
Yes.
in PPG Paints Arena, and like,
Oh my God. Wait, there was one I remember that was like the person like maybe casually played tennis once, and they turned the
bed
whole
is a
room into like
racket.
a tennis. The bed's a racket, but they had the floor was all tennis balls with like plexiglass over it. So it was like you were walking on that. But I'm like, yeah, that's like they make the dance floor out of
where are those houses now?
bowling balls. I know. But as a kid, I was like, this is actually bullshit that like that's not what my room looks like. Because obviously other kids have rooms like that. That's normal, apparently. Because they're like, well, what else would we do?
Exactly.
You know, they go in, they're like, we're not. I don't know.
For sure.
I have to say something. I really like Camila Cabello's new album.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to like or hate that I said that.
I don't mind it. I really enjoyed her first album.
I know you've been a Camila stan.
Well,
in the past, you have really liked her, right? Have you not? I know you're jealous. You're jealous of her. Admit it.
I loved Fifth Harmony. When she was acting like a normal fucking girl. And she started acting kind of weird. I think we just got to know her more. I think that's what happened.
She does act weird. That's true. She does some weird shit.
I think the writing on her first album is actually really impressive if people go back and listen to it.
I like that one song. It's like, Halloween,
yes.
Morphine.
I like that one.
I like
but not
that
even
one.
like there are a couple songs on there that I think have stood the test of time. And I did like the single I Love It. And I think that but I do, I don't know. I haven't listened to the album yet.
Chanel No. 5 is a really good one.
Matt Rogers is a big fan of the record.
Oh, he is?
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Now, here's what I will say. I'm not a fan of like it as an album. She has some weird, I'm sure there's a concept behind this I haven't
That's
really
what Matt
looked
said.
into.
There's like voicemails and like things.
Yes, of like fans. Like, you changed my life,
That's kind
Camila.
of weird.
Like, it's like that's a whole track. And there's nothing else. Okay. And it's almost like she's giving like, it's like she's trying to do Beyonce with like interludes going into
it's like she's trying to prove that people do listen to her. Did you listen to Woman's World?
Not yet.
I haven't listened to it either, other than the clips that I've seen.
People are, furious with Katy Perry for just existing right now. And I Googled her to see like, wait, Wait, what did she do? And I couldn't find anything.
She worked with Dr. Luke. That's what happened.
Okay.
That's who produced this song, which is another
And
ironic thing.
That's Kesha's perpetrator?
Yes. And multiple other women in the industry have come up
my
and
God.
said that, like, working with him.
What?
Yeah. They said,
Wait,
like,
what?
a bunch of women have come out and
God.
said not necessarily the same level of what Kesha had to endure, but that he created definitely terrible environments for not just Kesha. And Katy Perry is still
I'm disgusted.
working with
I
him.
actually like have chills in like a bad way. Like I feel like
It's super sinister.
I'm disgusted by that.
There are
Honestly,
so many people to work with. And it to me, what it reads as, and this is really even more disheartening, is she's so desperate to get back to the popularity that she had and whenever Teenage Dream came out, 2012, that she is willing to sacrifice what should be just regular morals to go back and hopefully be able to, like, she's going back into that coal mine hoping that she can, like, find one more diamond in there, but it's not worth everything that comes with it, in my opinion, because she's I mean, number one, the song's bad. Number two, the press is bad. Number three, the look is bad. So I don't, and what is that? What message are you sending to your female peers? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand it. I just don't know. I mean, even just from a pure optics point of view, take the morals out of it. Why would you want to have his name attached to your song?
Yeah, no, I think that's like, and I'm sorry, there's not a world where you didn't know. So
No.
I just think it's that, you know what? Whoa, I'm so glad you told me that because I'm not a Katy Perry listener, so I didn't listen to the song anyway, but I was like, wow, people just fucking hate this bitch right now. Like, what did she do? I couldn't figure out what it was.
She's I think early
and I guess
in her
when
career,
I Googled it was like new single, so I didn't.
She didn't seem like, I feel like there was part of her that felt really relatable when she was younger, and now she's just continuously doing things that prove that she's out of touch and it's not working.
Yeah. I mean, she's been doing that for years. It's like she tried to have her Miley era years after Miley did it. And it was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Kind of when she did it. That was
right. It's
swish,
just,
swish,
it's
swish.
it's unfortunate for a lot of reasons, but it's Matt Rogers made a good point about it. He was like, you are a white woman who has had hit after hit after hit. You have this incredible career, and you're making the choice to work with him. It's different because people will point to Doja and Kim Petras, who have also worked with Dr. Luke since what has happened. But what Matt points out there is they're a trans woman and a woman of color who are in this industry fighting a completely different kind of uphill battle than Katy Perry has to fight at this point in her career. And I'm sorry, I don't necessarily, I sympathize with that decision more than I obviously sympathize with Katy. She's not in a position where she needs to sacrifice those things to get success. She could work with anybody. She could say, Max Martin, let's make a hit, and he would probably do it. So but Doja doesn't have that power, or she didn't when she was working with him.
Yeah, it's not like someone's taking a chance on you and it's your only way up.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You had a decision to
You're
make
Katy
and you made
Perry.
the wrong one. Yeah, it's really disturbing.
Guys, last night I was out on the town and we went to a bar that I'd never been to before, and guess what they played?
What? Brat.
A mashup or a little it went from Von Dutch into Swine from Art Pop.
What?
Did they like
They
did I walk
tapped
through that
into
door?
your brain.
And they were like, okay, this is what she needs to hear.
They were like, that's actually the whole appeal of the bar. The whole appeal of that bar is they're like, and we have, like some bars have like security, like things that you walk through, metal detectors. We actually have something that downloads all of the information from your brain. Don't worry too much about that, about like all the stuff we're getting. Just mostly we're getting your music taste, or that's what we're looking at. Everything else goes into a bin that's into the White House. But we take all that information and we create, your perfect song, but you're the only one who can hear it. Everybody hears their own perfect song. In the future, that's what we will have.
I think that's just a silent disco.
No, it isn't, because they're all listening to the same song.
No, because they have different channels.
But then that also, you know what? It's like the rhythm's all messed up.
Exactly. So I don't know that is the future.
Okay. All right. Well, back to the drawing board.
It was my reality last night. And I felt like a crazy person because nobody knows the song Swine by Lady Gaga that
Well,
What
hey
I was
guys, pick me as fuck, right?
Caroline, you know
Right?
what I mean. I know you're blessed with your friend group that everybody absolutely would have known every word to both of those songs, but not mine.
Oh man, you gotta find new friends,
Only
I guess.
Only love to my
kidding.
friends, but I do need
Right,
someone
no, right.
who can match my freak when
Yeah.
Swine by Lady Gaga comes on.
Phoebe is constantly asking, "Is somebody gonna match my freak?" She's always like, "Friends, is anyone here gonna?" No, okay, yet another night. No one's matched my freak again. Oh my god! And honestly, that's like Phoebe's whole life. She's wearing a fedora to school. People are like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "Match my freak." Match my freak or don't talk to me.
and then suddenly all the girls are buying their hats from Justice, and everybody also is wearing fedoras.
And you're like, not the pink sequin fedora. Oh my god, we are about
The one
same.
that makes you look like a mob boss.
You said I'm not like other girls. Okay, you're wearing a pink sequin fedora. I'm wearing a neon blue and orange plaid fedora. We are not the same. You have no clue where I got this, and neither do I, because my mom has an alert for every single new fedora type that's released into the world. And it's on automatic order. Subscribe and save, bitch. Something like that.
Did you see the video of Kate Middleton arriving to Wimbledon?
No.
Oh my god. Of course, it made me cry. And someone put that song on TikTok that's like the M83 song where he's just like, I think it's Wait from like the Fault in Our Stars, but then it goes into like a cinematic like Star Wars.
I don't know if I know it.
For sure.
but-
Anyway, it's triumphant and it's beautiful.
Okay.
And they put that on, but at first people didn't realize she was walking to her seat, I don't think. And then they have an aerial view of the stadium, and everybody starts to stand up and clap. I'm gonna cry thinking about it. And she seems like so like she like it goes, when a mom doesn't want to take like it doesn't want to be celebrated, or like
Yeah.
it's not like it, like she feels like she has to like be demure about it. Like she immediately like went into mom mode and was like helping her party get to their seats and all this stuff while it was happening. And like you could tell she wanted to soak it in, but didn't want to like, it's just really, and Wimbledon's famously like one of her favorite things to go do. And the
Aw.
fact that she didn't think she'd be able to go this year,
Yeah.
that is just really sitting with me.
Wow, it sounds like it, and I know it. I know it's sitting with you because I keep hearing you go, "Ugh," which is so mom of you. Not gonna lie, so mom of you.
I have few and far between momisms, but they are there.
The reason I was going to, you getting emotional over fucking everything is extremely mom of you. When's the last time dad was in a Target? I know I blew your mind. Can you even muster up a guess? Like, I literally am like, it has to be over a decade ago. Try and think. You can't.
I mean, in his head, I feel like Target probably still looks like the old Robinson Target looked.
I'm like, he would have an awesome time if he went. Like, he'd be like, wait, he'd be kid in a candy store vibes.
He'd be like, wait, you can get everything here?
You can get everything here, Dad. Yes. And he,
That
I know. So I'm like, when you're home,
but
do we take him?
he would go and vlog it. He would go at that time.
Hey guys, Dad has never in his life vlogged. He would not go to Target and vlog it.
No, we'll vlog it.
I thought you said,
Sending dad into a Target for the first time in a decade and expecting him to vlog is like expecting a baby on its first day of life to like run a marathon.
Dude, I wasn't expecting him to do that. I thought you said he will vlog it. And I was like,
No,
why would you think he would
and
do
I
that?
said- and
I didn't think we
I
were
said-
asking him to do it. I thought you said he was taking the initiative and making the choice to vlog it himself for his YouTube channel, Connell Family 1990. Spelled wrong.
No, not that.
Do we need to take
Wow.
him? Isn't that wild?
Well, I feel like mom's gonna hear this and is gonna take him.
I doubt it. Mom's like, don't bring that up. Target is our space, okay? I'm like, that just might be what he needs. That might fix anything that needs to be fixed. Not that he has any. Love you, Dad. You're perfect.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I mean, even in the home improvement stuff, he'll get what he needs.
Right.
Like it will
Yes.
fix everything. He'll
And it
have
will be
new
warmer. It won't be like he's going to
clothes.
Home Depot and buying
Yes. But he
like.
likes
we gotta get
that.
him there.
He likes the whole cement floor vibe of Home Depot. Where I'm like, we could have thought of something a little more welcoming. Just saying.
When he like when I would put the drums in the garage, he thought that was like the most punk rock look in the world. That like I had to climb over boxes and boxes and sit with the spiders to practice for
Yeah,
school.
I also thought that was the most insane thing on earth. Aren't you glad it's a studio now?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Other things I wanted to chat with you about. So I saw Despicable Me 4 with Kelly on Friday. A couple things I need to say about this movie going experience. Number one, we had dinner first at P.F. Chang's. Now,
Ooh, was it also a celebration?
no, but we are. There's this weird draw of P.F. Chang's. Like, if it's around, somehow we end up there. Me and Kelly. Anthony doesn't like it, which I think is crazy.
I don't think it's not my favorite.
But it's not by any means not good. Like, it's
No,
good.
it's not.
It's good.
Yeah.
And they have good Diet Coke. But yeah, obviously for Barbenheimer, when we went in between, there was like a big festival and a Chinese dragon that came up to our table and scared the living
And some
Jesus
bowls
out
and
of us.
drums.
Yeah, it was actually like one of the most chaotic and
and
non-relaxing
it
dining
was-
experiences ever.
And it was just like kids from the local high school that wash dishes there having to do it.
It was so interesting. I was
Bizarre.
like, let me know first, because I wouldn't have sat down if I thought I was going to be.
We would have
if I was
gone to
going to
Cadillac
be
Ranch.
startled over and over and over again by a
We would have
gigantic
gone to
dragon.
Red Robin.
We would
We would've
have
gone to
gone
Red
to Red
Robin.
Robin. So we go in, Phoebe. They have a new deal, and you're gonna die at this. This is the best deal maybe in Pittsburgh. Okay, $18.99. It's called the Chef's Meal or Feast. Chef's Feast. Which I'm like, okay, we
Oh.
don't need to call it a feast, but thanks. Everyone at the table has to do it. Well, I don't know if everyone does, but 2 people do. You pick one of the appetizer, like soup, salad, whatever. You pick one of those. So I got egg drop soup. Then you pick an appetizer split. We got the chicken lettuce wraps. You
Love
each pick an entree. I got sesame chicken. She got honey chicken.
Wait.
Yes.
$18.99 each?
Yeah, each.
Okay.
But that's,
Still amazing.
I
But for
mean-
a second there, I was like, wait,
No, I
how
know.
amazing is this?
I know. But like I'm sorry, that's crazy that you can get the full, like just the sesame chicken is $18.
Wow.
You're getting that. You're getting
wonder-
soup or salad, and you're getting, and like the chicken lettuce wraps we got are like huge. Like we had to ask for more lettuce. We didn't even finish everything yet. We could have taken boxes, but we had to go to Despicable Me 4, so we couldn't.
How was Despicable Me 4?
Dude, I hate to say this, and this is off-brand,
Bad.
but it was a letdown. It
Do
was
you-
honestly a letdown.
Do you think that we're done? You know, like
I think I was surprised when I heard we were making a 4th one.
mm-hmm.
It started out so strong, but naturally things do decline. And
why are we're running dry on ideas, and it's annoying to me.
I'm also wondering, how is it that no one has aged one single day, but Gru now has a newborn,
yeah.
but Agnes is still like, Fluffy! That's still what she's like. It's been years. It's been over 10 years.
She's off to college.
She's at least in high school. So,
Gotta be.
but also,
Yeah,
guys,
I don't-
nothing. I mean, the middle kid, just no one has ever been more Phoebe than the middle kid and Despicable Me. Like, and it's not just that she's the middle kid, but like the hat, the haircut is exactly what Phoebe's hair was for like the first 14 years of her life, it feels like. It's just, she's so cute and like goofy and fun and like easygoing and like doesn't give a fuck about anything. And it's just so Phoebe. But anyway, we watch it and Will Ferrell plays the bad guy,
Villain.
the villain, the adversary, if you will. And his whole thing is that he turns into a gigantic cockroach and turns other people into cockroaches. And I, as I'm sitting there thinking to myself, they were like, what's the most disgusting thing we can think of? And let's make him that. And I am sitting there like, I am so proud to be allergic to cockroaches. Scale of 6, I'm a 4. My body has taste. My body, like I didn't have to tell it. It was like, girl, you do not need to be around these guys. You just don't. You're gonna go to school in Charleston. So like, it's part of it. So we're only going to make you allergic a 4 out of 6. But girly, that's enough. Okay. So stay away. You don't need, these aren't for you. And I was, and I was like, thank you guys to my like cells and stuff. But it was just a reminder. I was like, God, I have taste. We have taste. Yeah. Because there are people in here who are not allergic to cockroaches. And it's like, how embarrassing is that for you? Your body was like, no, you're fine. You can hang out with them. They don't bother you. Ooh, red for filth much? Don't you wish you were allergic to cockroaches, kind of?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I know. What's the
guys,
T on the letter W?
Listen to this.
How much time you got?
I found out the other day that, of course, our vowels are famously A-E-I-O-U.
I thought you said
Y.
Wow, Phoebe, I don't want to be accused of belittling you, but you just said vowel, and I thought you said vow. Pittsburgh.
For sure. Whatever. Well, I'm not going to say vowel.
Well, that's how you say it. Hey, everyone. Is vowel a 2-syllable word or a 1-syllable word? Depending on your geographic location.
Whatever. Anyway, the
not
rhyme.
I'm sorry, not you saying, I'm not going to say vowel. Oh, okay. Sorry. You know what? My bad. That was crazy of me to ask you to.
Yeah. So the rhyme is A-E-I-O. I guess this isn't a rhyme, but it's A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y. But apparently there is a rhyme. And it's A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y and W.
Yeah.
And here's what I want to say. Sorry, you don't get to be in the clique if you have to latch on to one of the others. There's no +1 situation here. You're not a vowel.
Well,
you're a consonant.
You want to know what's even way worse than that, though? Is like Y is doing that. W is fully like...
No. Y is not doing that. Y sometimes truly is the vowel in a word. Larynx. I don't know why that's the first one that came to mind.
A is in that word.
No, I know, but it's not. It Y is replacing what the I would be and is the like larynx. It's not like with in order for W to be a vowel, it has to be next to a vowel, an actual vowel. So sorry, that's not. You're not a vowel.
Well, I
You're
don't really
a consonant.
I feel like we're getting into the weeds here when what we should really be thinking about is why do you want to be part of the club so bad? And if you're dying to be part of the club, then like just be part of the club. You know what I mean? Like do what you need to do to get them
creative.
to accept you. And if you can't, then you have to take the L, like the literal L's of the world. Okay?
Exactly.
Like,
and maybe you can revamp the consonants.
And also, wait, let me play devil's advocate for a second. If I'm a vowel, I'm like, I don't want you in my club. Like, or I'm also like, why do you think you just get to come and go? I don't know. I guess here's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Are the vowels bad guys? Are the vowels like excluding them? Like, it's like sometimes you can be part of our clique. And it's like, I want to tell
I
W,
think the
love
vowels-
yourself. Love yourself. Get out of here.
the vowels are kind of like a priesthood or the Supreme Court.
I was about to say between you and me, who's the vowel, who's a consonant. I guess you'd be the vowel then.
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't mean in terms of ideology.
You know
I just
what?
mean
You know
like,
what? No, you are the vowel. Because I'm a little bit more like.
and that's very consonant.
Like that's very like consonant vibes. And you're like, oh. And that's very vowel vibes.
Very vowel.
We just cracked it. We cracked the code. Should we do our
Yes.
rotations?
So, yeah, I go first.
Okay.
First is Glenn Powell. He's moving from the nightmare to the dream. This, first of all, I'm starting to realize that he just is that guy in your high school theater department who like everybody loved, and he would take pictures with girls like at the cast party and like hug them, and everybody maybe thought that he had a crush on them, but he was just really just like,
yeah,
he's just like that guy.
Yeah.
And with Sydney Sweeney, he met someone who matched his freak.
Totally.
And now I'm seeing him with Daisy Edgar Jones, and it's like, oh, like you just are like, and you were like this with Zoe Dutch. We just weren't clued into it the way that we were when it was Sydney Sweeney.
Well, yeah, she got kind of all eyes on him.
He's on my dream rotation because I watched a Jake Shane interview, and Jake was like calling. He had to call people and see who would answer, and Glenn was one of them, and he didn't answer. And at first Jake was like, oh, like that's embarrassing. Oh. And then Glenn texted him and was like, hey man, I'm on set. I hope everything's okay. Once I'm done shooting, I can give you a call. And then he sends him a video and or like a voice memo and like says that he's like, hey, I'm happy to talk. I just got to wrap a few things up and then I'll give you a call. Oh my God. And there was one other thing that I can't remember that was similar to that of like, he just like seems like such a nice guy and so thoughtful.
Oh, I love that.
It was an interview of Glenn talking about working out at Aloe with Tate McRae and Jake Shane. And he was like, yeah, like I'm in the best shape of my life and I couldn't have done it without Tate and Jake. Like we're a team and like they're part of, it's like he's just being so cute and sweet and exactly. So he's done that for me. Next is going to be Stevie Nicks, and this is on here because of well, now I can say two things, but initially she was on the list because of the video of her filming at the Eras tour, the song Clara Bow, but also knowing that You're on Your Own Kid is her favorite Taylor Swift song, and she has said at her concerts that song helped her get through Christine's death.
Oh my God, I'm literally
and like
chills.
Makes her think about them growing up together and like everything that they went through, and Taylor playing that for her and Stevie Nicks recording it. No. And everybody knowing that it's that like she picked it for her.
How bad like, do you just want to show Dave Grohl that video? Like
I know, or the video of Paul McCartney dancing to like these people are the thing is that these people are going, the legends that are alive are going to Taylor Swift and Beyonce concerts.
Not the Foo Fighters, sorry.
They might have before, but I don't know about right now.
That's a good point. It's like, yeah, that's where they're putting their time and energy and money. Like that's what people are choosing. But also I think it's just like, I'm sorry. Or do you think Stevie Nicks has bad taste? Do you think Stevie Nicks is going to support somebody who isn't like genuinely so talented and has worked for it and deserves to be there? Like,
I love her so much. And the way that she speaks about young people is how I think everybody should speak about like young people coming up in the industry. She's not going to go say something. She definitely has negative opinions, but she's just not sharing those because why take up that space? Yeah. Like another reason she would be on here is because she brought Harry Styles out to play her song with Tom Petty, and then Landslide. They played those together at Hyde Park, and which to note, Harry has had a performance with Stevie Nicks before every album announcement.
Whoa.
So Harry Styles number 4 incoming, I think. But the way she spoke about him, she was like, he's just like my kindred spirit, and like I really wish he had also been born in 1948 because he just gets on with all of us. So like talking about everybody that came up in that class of like rock stars.
Yeah.
I just like talk like that.
Yeah.
Bolster people up. It's just not worth your
Or
energy
say nothing.
to be
Like
negative. Exactly. That's what I mean. Exactly.
You
Like,
literally
just keep your mouth shut.
don't have to say anything. You don't have to make a choice if you're going to speak, good or bad about someone. You just don't have to say anything.
Right. Last is, I don't want to mispronounce her name. Liza Colon Zayas. She is from The Bear. And guys, I didn't even realize I gave myself this gift. I thought I was caught up on The Bear. I hadn't watched season 2.
Whoa.
I got to binge season 2 and I have one more episode of season 3. And now I can freaking cast from my computer to my TV so I don't have to watch it on a small little screen or when I'm home. But and I think this is also going into like what's been making me really emotional, but she had an episode where it's about her. She lost her job and she's having to go like she just kind of like pull herself up and like go look for jobs. But she has these moments, or like Carmi sends her to culinary school so she can, and Sydney asks her to be her sous chef. And when those things happen, she like says yes, and then they walk away, and she has this moment where she just like smiles to herself, and you can tell that she's hardened and she doesn't want to smile, but she like can't help but smile. And Carmi like gives her his like knife, and she goes to give it back, and he's like, no, like that's yours now. And she like and she is such an incredible actress, and this character is just like, to see the progress of that that's what's so great about the show, is that it truly is an ensemble cast, and that like it really started like obviously Carmi and Sydney were the main characters, and they still are, but now that we've had enough time with all of the characters, they've really put so much thought into each character. The Bear makes me feel more creative than I have ever felt in my whole life. Watching it makes me want to like go.
Wow.
But anyway, her storyline this season, I mean, just watching season 2 through season 3, really like she just blew me away.
Aww.
Every time she's on the screen, she makes me cry.
Wow.
Which
Wow, you really are crying.
The bar is on the floor at the moment.
It does seem that way, not gonna lie. All right, good one. Okay, my nightmare rotation. Number 1 is flossing, because I have made that part of my life again. And it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to do this. I just want to go to bed. But it's like I will still do it. But it does make your gums bleed. And it is, and so I'm like, is that why people use water flossers?
No, because that will make your gums bleed too. It's just that you haven't been flossing. It's like getting calluses on your fingers. You know what I mean? Like if you were to play the guitar after not having played ever, your fingers could bleed because how you're pressing the metal. But over time, your fingers protect themselves from that.
Yeah. It's annoying. And I'm just like, this is just what it is. Like, I just have to keep doing this. And I thought water flossing was supposed to be more gentle.
No. Well, it can be. You can like set different settings on it, but like you can get some pretty intense pressure on a water flosser.
Wow.
And you go like in between all your teeth and then the back of your teeth, and it's supposed to like really get the gunk out.
Maybe I should get one.
I do enjoy it at this point. Like my teeth feel more like, again, I did just get them cleaned, so I know that they like feel cleaner, but I do think that I also like my teeth feel less clean when I don't water floss. Or like sometimes I'll do it, like Mom, she gets that itch after she eats to go floss. And I now will feel that way.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going out of the house at any point and I've eaten something, it like is something I have to water floss before I leave.
Wow.
or at least floss.
That's crazy. Okay, well, that's number one. Number two is people who don't have any proprioception. And these people who are in Target with their carts, I can't handle it. Like, I get irate when I'm walking down an aisle and a mother and her daughter walk into the other side of the aisle and just turn their cart and just stop. I'm
That's
like, I'm
crazy.
sorry, can you not see me? Hello, I know I'm tiny. Can you not see me? I'm walking through here. And then I'll walk up to them, like, to get through. I won't go the other way. I'll be like, and I'll kind of stand there, like, waiting, and they won't even look at me. And I'll say, excuse me.
I'm really, like, I think it's always been bad. Like, I've always noticed stuff like that with people, but I do think COVID made it worse. Like, a lot of people, when I go out, like, I feel like, I mean, I still feel like primarily people are good, people are polite. But I have noticed there are way more people now who are rude. We don't know how to interact with each other.
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
It
drives
allowed
me-
people who were probably already cold to get colder. And now there's that sense of entitlement there, especially in a Target.
This is not coldness. This is rudeness. This is selfishness and rudeness. That's what this is. This is the world revolves around me vibe. Like, it's not, this is not coldness. They're not cold. They're not being cold. Because then I stand there in front of them and they don't move. And I say, excuse me. And then they're like, oh, sorry.
Oh,
What? And then I was trying to leave Target, okay, and I'm leaving and I'm walking, and there is a mother and her daughter stopped in the middle of the aisle. And like, now you know how they're like separated, so it's like their directions. She stopped in the middle, so there's no getting through. And there's another mother and her daughter stopped on the other side. So me and this woman are standing there, like, waiting for somebody.
are you guys looking at each other?
At this point we're not. At this point we're not. But we're both standing there like, okay. And the woman is agitated, like, already. Like, she's on a mission. She wants to get the fuck out. She's like, move. And we're standing there. And the one side, on the right side, the woman and her daughter go into an aisle. So we're like, okay, here's our entrance. As soon as that happens, the mother and the daughter from the other side just move their cart diagonal across the lane. And literally the woman looks at me and goes, oh my God. And I was like, I couldn't believe it when this girl like I just was like, oh my God. And the woman literally says, oh my God. And they don't even look at us. Like, they can't hear us. And it was just crazy. And then I see that the woman's husband is like across the aisle, like standing there to get out of the way, like looking at us. And I just like look at him and like he heard us. And I look and I was just like, and then the woman swerves her car and like jams it, like huffing and puffing. Like, no, the woman who's annoyed with me, not with me, but together with me. We left. But it was like, and then I was irate. I was so mad. And I hate that, how pissed off it makes me. But it does. I'm like, why do you not
it's just
have
like, why
to be?
do you?
Like, why don't I get to be that selfish and ignorant and rude?
Why do you get to move through the world like this?
It's crazy. And then the last thing, I'm now forgetting what it was. I'm putting Jillian from Nowhere Like Home. If you guys are reading our summer book club, we just finished our second section. And so we're entering part 2 of the book, Nowhere Like Home by Sarah Shepard. I'm really enjoying it. I know Phoebe has already devoured it and is hopefully rereading it. But it's crazy. And we're going to talk about it more, not on this episode, but if you're not in the Reddit, you should go join because you're getting lots and lots and lots of thoughts from me and from the other people who are reading, and it's fun to talk about. So make sure you're reading. If you want to know why Jillian is on my nightmare rotation, I'm not going to tell you. You have to do the work yourself. All right. I have the honor and the privilege of doing the recap this week, so I will go ahead and do that now. All right, time for the recap. We're going to start with our girl, Spencer. So Spencer and Caleb keep having more and more passionate interactions, which I fucking hate. Passion, whether it's anger, a little fight, a little checking out the gun show. I don't know what it is, but Spencer and Caleb are kind of at each other's throats. And she realizes that she really doesn't know anything about him, and she doesn't know who he is since he's been back from Ravenswood, and maybe neither does Hannah, and maybe neither does anybody. Spencer is also convinced that Allie is the problem at this point. She has evidence of Allie's lying that she got from Noel, or Emily got from Noel. We've got the tape of her like training the girls on what to say. We have the pictures of her from the time she was supposed to be kidnapped. And Spencer puts them in her top secret hiding spot, which is not actually that top secret because they do get stolen. We also finally at that time have a confrontation with Melissa about Allie, where they acknowledge that they both know she was not kidnapped. And Spencer wants to come clean to the cops about everything, including NYC. She's ready to jump from the Allie ship. Aria, obviously not psyched about the idea of coming clean about everything because what about her murder? What about her skin of a killer? Won't everybody find out? And Spencer's like, yeah, they will, but it's not all about you, Aria. And that's kind of where Aria loses her. But she's also convinced that Allie is the problem. And she's not back with Ezra officially, but she does not want him involved with Allie because Lieutenant Butterscotch is on their ass. A is on their ass. Things are just really heating up here. Hannah is, shocker, also convinced that Allie's the problem, but she is also recovering from her bad girl era, and she wants Caleb to be doing the same, at least for the drinking. Emily is the last one to turn on Allie, but she certainly does, and she has a super powerful, like, fuck you moment, which we love for her. She's finally convinced that even if Allie has a plan to, like, get herself out of this, she's going to throw the girls under the bus to pull it off. And it's, like, finally, we're seeing that. We're seeing the forest for the trees. So she decides they need to cut ties with Allie, and she kind of does that on her own. A few other things from Allie. She has identified Cyrus as the one who kidnapped her, but was just a little bit too late, and they ended up having to release him. And we do get his backstory and how that all like came to be, but doesn't matter because they end up letting him go, and Allie meets him in the woods and gives him a passport to get out of town. But the girls still don't know that like she really knows this guy and whatever. So lots of things up in the air. I think that's everything you need to know. Let's get into episode 5.11. 1211.
That's like W vibes.
1211
That's W
is
vibes.
absolutely giving W vibes. And that's all we're going to say about that. Okay. So we begin. By the way, we'll get into the title really quick. But yeah, the lyrics. It says, gonna pack up all my cares and woe. No one here can love or understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. That's a little phrase. So the girls are dressed to the nines. Aria's in an outfit I absolutely would have worn at this time. She is wearing a cheetah print blazer,
Yeah.
a sequin top underneath, coral skinny jeans, and booties. Like, just copy and
It's
paste that
kind
shit
of-
and put it on my junior year
That's
body.
kind of a
high school.
Hannah fit.
It
It's
is.
the coral pants.
It is, and that's why I think and the leopard. I mean, and the leopard
But
and the,
the
sequins. It
leopard-
actually is
the
very
leopard feels-
Hannah.
More Aria. I feel like she more is an animal print girl.
I feel like yes, but this specific kind of leopard, it's like cleaner and brighter in a way that makes me feel like it would have been like Hannah, and maybe in the earlier seasons, like that would have been
I
something she
see.
would have worn. I don't know, but Spencer's dressed like Wednesday Addams, so we have a really big dichotomy here, which we love.
So they're gearing up to go over to the police department so that they can come clean. And they say after this, Allie's on her own, which I will say does feel like quite, I know we were gearing up for this, but to say after this, Allie's on her own feels like a pretty big pivot for me.
Oh, I agree. I think that we needed a little bit more lead up if it's going to be like a clean cut. But of course it isn't, because as they're waiting outside of the
I
police
love
station,
this.
and I would have run down the street screaming and you would have never seen me again. This would have been something that replays in my nightmares for like decades to come. They're outside of the police station. There's this like fucking TV shop with a store window with all these TVs that start showing pictures and footage of Allie from when she was supposed to be kidnapped at an ATM, and it says we're all in this together. And then the camera switches to the girls being watched outside of the TV shop, and it saes act normal bitches.
Oh my God.
So
And
true,
Spencer
though.
took, and
so true. You do need
and
to act
Spencer
normal.
took this personally. Spencer looks like she I was gonna say she looks like she's about to break the glass, but she does go to pick up a brick that's just there.
I was like, okay, what are we trying to do
And
here?
Allie goes, stop. Or Aria's like, stop. It's not worth it. It's like, okay, it literally isn't worth it. Because imagine if you did that.
Literally is not worth it. But I'm also like, it says act normal. None of them act even remotely normal. And I do think we should just be a little cognizant, ladies, of the fact that Lieutenant Butterscotch is less than a mile away. In fact, she's less than a block away. She's right across the street. You're in front of the police station. Like, we don't need to be
kind of
picking up a rock
bold
and
of
throwing
A
it.
too, to do that in Rosewood Times Square.
We're getting a little
So like,
bold,
what time
a little
is it?
ballsy
Because
here,
it's
maybe.
desolate out there. No one's out, but it's early enough for them to go to the police station.
Could be 9 p.m., could be 3 a.m. Like, there's really no way to know. But they decide not to tell, and the girls leave. And we go to the brew, where Emily is picking up 2 coffees with mounds of whipped cream on top,
Gorgeous.
which does not seem like a Spencer or Emily.
No, it doesn't. I thought they
Coffee
were hot
order.
chocolates at first, and
Me too.
well, this honestly is a very un-Spencer scene because Emily goes to sit down with them, and Spencer says, "I can't drink any coffee right now." And Emily doesn't even clock that. She goes, "I didn't get it for the coffee."
And Emily drops the 2 coffee mugs. She's like, "Who are you? And what have you done with Spencer?" Melissa.
Is that you?
Melissa, is that you?
But she says, "I didn't get it for the coffee. I got it for the whipped cream." And it's like,
It's decaf.
okay, I just have never really wanted decaf coffee with. I haven't even really wanted
Whipped
like a latte
cream?
with whipped cream on it.
The only time, like, I will once a year, maybe twice a year, do the whole thing and be like, yes, I want a pumpkin spice latte, which I'm going to say
It's gotta
something.
be seasonal.
I believe pumpkin spice lattes taste the best in a grande cup. Like, that
Yes.
size just does
Because
work the
they
best
get,
for them.
like-
Like, venti
And
doesn't
I feel
really
like my
work.
favorite one, and I don't think they had it last Christmas, but the caramel brulee latte, you can't
No, they had
you can't get a big size of it because they'll put way too much syrup and
No,
then it sits. It might be fine for the first like quarter of the drink, but once you get to a certain point,
then
it's
you're-
settling in the bottom and it's just like so gross.
Yeah. It's like and it takes you longer to drink it. You might as well. But if you get a tall and you do the whole thing with the whipped cream, then it's like there's barely any coffee in there. So the grande is the perfect size for like the handcrafted seasonal
Yeah.
drinks. If you're getting whipped cream too, like, because I'll do that every now and then, or like once a year. I'll be like, okay, get me one with like regular milk and whipped cream, because I just want to go back to the glory days of like when I didn't know we weren't supposed to like cow's milk, and just enjoy a good old fashioned pumpkin spice
you
latte that's gonna
ever
make
get
me
those-
be in pain.
Do you
for a
ever
week.
get those TikToks of like Nora Jones playing and it's a slideshow of like old Starbucks from like 2005, like how they used to look? or like how kitchens used to look like
Yes,
old
yes, yes,
Paneras,
yes.
and it's like, oh my god. And
Or it's even like, do you ever get the ones that are like a TikTok of just the commercials on a Disney Channel movie? Like, and it's like, okay, they're not showing you the movie, it's just the commercial break. And so it goes to that first screen you see where they're all
Yes.
jumping over the whatever. And then it goes to like, but they're all just Disney ads. So it's like, and then it goes back, oh, that. And it has it on a little
Yes.
TV. Like, that will really get
oh
me.
my gosh, I miss like the old Barnes and Noble Starbucks, like it like raining, going to South Hills Village Mall.
Oh,
Oh my god.
you miss, dare I say,
Childhood?
the old days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we call nostalgia. It sucks. It really sucks.
So, and Hannah is with Caleb. Arya went home, and
Wait. We need to say something about this. So Emily is basically says,
no, that's where I was going. I just was clarifying that Hannah. Emily
okay.
said Hannah's with Caleb. Arya went home after the brick incident
right.
because Arya couldn't handle it. She was so psyched up to come clean.
Mm-hmm.
She finally put it in her head that she like had to gear up and be excited about it, and now she's like, she has to go home and deal with her adrenaline rush she was about to
I'm
have.
gonna play another side of this.
All
I
right.
think she jumped ship the second she could. They were like, okay, the first sign of we shouldn't do this, she said, I'm outie. She had Heelys on and she was gone. No one even noticed she left. She zoomed away so
Arizona.
fast.
Arizona
on those
vibes.
Heelys. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what I think happened. there.
I'm so glad Caroline and I got to share that moment when we were watching Grey's Anatomy and Arizona showed up for the first time in
Heelys.
Heelys. And I was like, this
Oh
is
my
this
God.
bitch.
I was in the airport last week and this kid just like zooms by on Heelys and I was like, Okay, bold. In the airport, bold. But all right. Let me tell you,
He's-
George O'Connell would not have let that fly.
No. So yes, Emily thinks this could have been A. or it
Emily
could have
thinks
been
it's Allison. Yeah.
That's what I'm.
And
I was just having a theatrical moment.
okay, I'm sorry. I have to confess something. Like, I'm drinking this thing. I don't know if you know what this is.
It looks like a vodka cran to me.
All right, ding, ding, ding. Just kidding. But it does have the coloring of a vodka cran. God, can you imagine? I'm drinking a vodka cran out of a venti Starbucks cup.
with no ice.
No, I am drinking the new like energy refresher,
Oh.
which it did give me pause because I'm like, is this gonna
The
be another one of those Panera
reimagined-
things? Like, yeah, like I'm like,
charged.
but I'm also
lemonade.
like those people. Sorry, like. Just know your limits because I could probably drink those and be
Yeah.
completely asleep within 15 minutes.
Did you see the tweet that was after the debate that was like, we should just bring back the charged lemonade, give them both one. Whoever survives, unfortunately, gets. The
I thought you were gonna
presidency.
say give one to Biden so he can match Donald Trump's freak because Donald Trump is on coke. So Biden being on nothing is like really a disparity. Like we really are gonna need a little jolt there. Anyway, we'll see. I still have half of it left, but I might be a little jumpy.
Okay, good. So Allison calls Spencer, and like, why do we write these lines that no one would ever say? Because Spencer says, "I think I'm just gonna have to hit the mute button on this." Just say I don't think I could talk to her right now. Nobody would say, "I just have to hit the mute button."
Yeah, they probably
Hit
they'd be
snooze
like,
on
oh, I'm not
life.
answering. I'm not answering that one. But you know, we have this nice moment, and I realize we don't get a ton of Spencer Emily Spemily moments.
But we have been these last couple episodes. It's been great.
I'm liking it a lot. I like it a lot. It's a refreshing dynamic, and for once,
especially this Emily, because Emily is finally like coming to her own, like we've talked about. And I feel like Spencer, like, not that she didn't respect her before, but I think she has a new respect for Emily.
Spencer's like, okay, now you can be part of my crew. Spencer's like, okay, you found your edge.
You finally matched my freak.
She was like, I was hoping when you got the skin of a killer, you might like
Title of Up,
yeah,
match my freak.
match my freak. Whoa, excuse you. Someone finally, I'm so happy to hear this. Someone finally asks Emily how she's doing, which would be nice if like some of the other girls could do that. So Spencer asks Emily, and Emily has this answer. She says, I wasn't defending Allie. I was defending someone from a long time ago, someone who maybe never existed, which is just such a sad like reality.
It is sad,
for her.
and it is like, yeah, she did never exist because the Allie from a long time ago also sucked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was nothing to defend from the Allie a long time ago, Emily. That's what I have to tell you. Like, she was actually a bully to you.
And to
But
your ex-girlfriend.
Emily says
who
something.
Emily goes on to describe as real and genuine. Right.
Okay, is not the vibe I'm getting from her this episode. Let me just say there's nothing real and or genuine about what she does. But I just am like, really, like now you're like, well, I guess I better go back to Paige. Oh no, it's too late. It's like, maybe we just
Move
focus
on.
on ourselves for a sec. Maybe we do that. So then Allie calls Emily and she doesn't answer either. And we find out that Ken is taking Allie out of town because the kidnapper's been released and he doesn't obviously know that Allie and him are tight. So then we go to Caleb's place and Hannah walks in and much to her chagrin, Caleb is knocked out asleep on the armchair and she kisses him and he flips the fuck out and it's giving me after I've been asleep for 15 minutes and Anthony comes into bed.
Hannah finds beer bottles and she's like, I thought we were done with this. And Caleb says that drinking helps him fall asleep. And Hannah can't fucking stand it.
No. And so what she's really freaking out about is that all these pictures that were showing up on the TVs, they were from when Allie left Hannah's hotel room way back when
room.
Mona hit her. Yeah, sorry, hospital room. Way back when Mona hit her with her car. And like Allie showed up and we all thought it was like a vision, whatever. Like that was actually Allie. She was like,
Which
there's
I
no way
do
for me to
think-
explain that. Like, we literally can't tell anybody now.
Don't you think that is kind of an explanation? Like, because
What
if
do you
you did fully believe that your friend was dead and I would convince myself that it was a hallucination.
Yes, but at this point, do you think Lieutenant Butterscotch is going to accept that? Like, no.
I guess.
It might be real, but it doesn't sound real. Especially because these girls now have reputations for lying all the fucking time.
Right. So Hannah's outie though because she can't stand Caleb at the moment. Well, she
Yeah, she's
can. She
pissed.
loves him more than anything in the world, but she's just like,
Yes.
he's not helping himself, and she can't stand that.
But yeah, we do go to 3B, and Emily is actually knocking on the door looking panicked. And we don't know what's going to happen there. We're going to go back there in a second, but we have this little moment back at the Montgomery Mausoleum.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Where
Oh my
Mona
god.
and Mike are like studying, I guess. And Mona says this quote: "Everything about the Manhattan Project is fun, and Oppenheimer is dreamy." And this is, guys, before Barbenheimer, before the summer of Barbenheimer, even.
Before anybody knew anything about Oppenheimer, Mona was saying this.
Before anyone knew what the Manhattan Project was, Mona Vanderwall said it best. She's ahead of her
And this was the catalyst for Christopher Nolan to decide what his next project was.
It was also the catalyst for Arya to walk in and be a massive biatch.
Oh my god.
No
She walks
surprise.
in, she slams the door, doesn't say anything at first, and then she goes, "Hello?"
But like Phoebe, I do have to say, I struggle with this because on one hand I'm like, Arya, you are being so nasty, but on the other hand I'm
But
like,
it is like-
I would be acting way worse. I'm sorry. Like, how is this is just
Dude,
okay?
I know. Byron says shit later, and I'm like,
I know.
we're still describing their torrid past as just that? Not like them being absolutely tormented.
Maybe like attempted murder, blackmail, stalking, like.
And I have to ask, once again, did not the whole truth come out? Like,
I
part
can't
of me
remember.
is like, does everybody know everything? Because I just can't.
Because if they
Oh my
did,
God.
it's
There
hard
would be
for me to
restraining
imagine.
orders in place.
Well, yes. But I guess probably the whole truth isn't out because I'm sure there was lots that would incriminate the girls. Maybe that's what it is. But it's just like, again, if we had maybe been honest from the get-go, we wouldn't be in this situation. Now, would we?
Mona's also in a sweater. Did you notice Mona's sweater? I can't remember what it said, but I think it had like an ice cream sundae on it. It looked like it was from Justice.
She's like so
And-
wholesome when she's around Mike.
Yes. So then we go back to 3B, and Emily again is on fire, and she's telling Ezra about Cyrus Petrillo and is like, do you know anything about him from your research?
It is funny the way she's like, did you ever hear that name when you were doing your research? Like he has a moment where he's like, no. It's just like, okay, we don't need to actually like really acknowledge it, but like your research, like it's just kind of funny the way that it's
It's
said.
like we may as
and-
well use it as a tool now.
Yeah. And what they've kind of settled on here is like, why would this guy give a false confession about someone unless they had something worse to use against him? And it's like, okay, so it must be that he actually did it. But no, then we remember the world we're living in where it's absolutely plausible that multiple people, especially Allison De Laurentiis, have like so much on this person that they could use. Like it's just
Right. And so Emily shows Ezra the picture of Allie at the ATM with a man who she thinks could be Cyrus. And Ezra's going to get to digging. And then he looks at Emily and says, thanks for trusting me.
I wish she said, yeah, don't flatter yourself. I have no other options. Like, she doesn't trust you, dude. She just literally doesn't.
And then we go
Byron-
to a fucking alternate universe in the Montgomery Mausoleum because Byron knocks on Arya's door. And Arya's like, look, this is Mike and Mona, this is a bad idea. And Byron says, I know that you and Mona have a more than the usual amount of history. That's the understatement of the century.
Yeah.
And I mean, Arya basically is like, you're right.
It's
You're right.
just
We
crazy.
we can't tell Mike to not be with her because then he'll just want to be with her more. But I'm like, sorry, you're the parent, Byron. It doesn't matter.
it's also just like a little too late. Like they should have done this when he first started dating Mona. Like it's not like this is like new. And then we find out that they're all going to see a show tonight. They're going to the theater and it's going to be the 4 of them. It's going to be Ella, Byron, Aria, and Mike. And Byron says, I had my fedora reblocked for the occasion. What the fuck does that mean? I thought he was joking. And then when Aria didn't even crack a smile, I was like, oh, why would I even think for 1 second a Montgomery was joking about having their fedora reblocked to go to the theater? You're not supposed to wear hats inside the theater. No one's even going to see it, dude. But also, how much were you judging him? You're like, oh, the way he said it, I had my fedora as if he only has one. Right. Mortifying. No way. You only have one. Imagine not having one for every outfit.
Mom texted me the other day when had been cleaning my room, and she said that she boxed up my fedoras and
she
started
cried.
crying.
Yep.
And that's the power of a good hat. Whoa. Caroline took her hat. Caroline's done. We go to Rosewood High School and we see Mike and Mona talking. Graphic but colorful is what I wrote.
I don't know.
And
I don't have that.
I don't know why. Why did I write graphic but colorful down? I know.
But Hannah does say, you might have said this when I was fixing my headphones, but Hannah said, your brother deserves way better than Mona. And knowing that she and Mike had their little moment, I'm like, like you. Like you. But imagine having Aria as your sister-in-law. No thanks. Aria's outfit is graphic. Lightning bolt skater skirt, cropped tee with lions on it, like one of those like wolf tees, you know, but it's lions, and the sleeves are cut to have fringe.
Yes, I recall this.
Wow.
This fit. Wow, a lot going on here.
Wow.
And Hannah thinks that A is Allie, and Allie just wanted to shut them up and maybe used the guise of A. I feel like they're not necessarily totally convinced that she is A.
No, I agree.
They're just like, this could have been Allie trying to get us to be quiet.
I'm sure they don't want to believe that either. Like there's still a part of them that I'm sure hopes that this person wouldn't really do this, but
for sure. So Hannah asks Spencer, do you still talk to Geen?
Do you still talk to
Dean? And Spencer's like, my sober coach? Not since he was fired.
I wish Spencer had said, wait, did Spencer say let's show some decorum? No, because I wrote that. I wrote Spencer says let's show some decorum, and I was like, did she say that or am I saying that? And I think I'm saying, if I'm Spencer, I'm like, okay, lower your voice.
Yeah,
like
literally.
In the middle of the school. You're like, hey, do you have that sober coach? I want to get him for Caleb. It's a little much. And so Spencer's like, no, you need to go to somebody else, somebody better. Then we have Emily.
And Spencer has an idea, though. Spencer knows who. She says, I think I have someone better for him to talk to. So, yes, we do go outside of Rosewood High School. Sorry. And Paige and Emily are talking about Sydney and how she's a good swimmer. And Emily is like on a fucking mission. She's like, let's get back together yesterday.
I hate this so much. And they're just like talking about how they're going to kind of reintegrate into each other's lives. But it's hard because they only see each other at practice. And Emily's like, can we talk tonight? And Mose is busy tonight. And we'll find out why. Then we go to Spencer on the phone with Toby. And she's like, do I call you officer or cadet? Come over. We need to talk about Caleb. So
wait, this is the best line. She says, I like cadet. It makes it sound like you're in the Space Command.
Okay, Spencer, since when do we sound stupid when we talk, you know? I don't know. But she says, it'll be easier when you're here. It's always easier when you're here. And Hannah, I think, is in the room. So I'm just like, okay, this is a conversation we don't have when another person's in the room. Right. So Spencer then finds a letter from Melissa that's on the floor. And she picks it up. It's like when she closes her door, it like falls out or something. And she knows it's from Melissa because she says, I'd recognize that anal retentive handwriting anywhere. She flips out, calls for Melissa. Melissa isn't there. And it's a CD. And she puts it into her computer and it's a video from Melissa
that we saw being recorded. But also, I do want to mention this. I want to mention this quote because Hannah's like, are we sure Toby's going to be able to help Caleb? To which Spencer says, never underestimate the power of a good bromance.
I guess Spencer's experienced a lot of bromances in her life. She would know.
She's just one of the
So
bros.
bizarre. But in the letter it says, I have to write this quickly. Dad's taking me to the airport. I'm sorry. You'll know everything soon. I promise. And that's all it says. Whatever. So then, of course, Hannah scurries around to tell Emily and Arya about the note. And she says the Hastings don't tell anything, and when they do, it's never enough. So that's actually so true. And that's everything I would say about that letter. It's just like a little something, but they don't tell you everything, and it is never enough. That is never enough to satiate
Exactly.
Spencer Hastings.
It's just enough to like really bug Spencer.
Yeah, which is so classic sister.
So classic. We go to the Hastings house and Toby and Spencer are just making out and everybody in the house is gone and it's like, okay, what's new? No one's ever there. And then Toby asks about, or Spencer asks Toby about Caleb, right?
Yeah,
And
she's like,
"What's
when's the last
been
time
going
you
on?"
saw him? And Toby says, a couple nights after his house blew up. And Spencer's like, well, Hannah stopped drinking, but Caleb hasn't. And I just want to say, like, I do think, I know it's a TV show or moving quick. Has this behavior really warranted all
An
this
intervention
right now? Because, hey, Spence, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Is all I'll say.
Well, maybe she's seeing the beginning
Maybe.
stages of addiction in Caleb and wants to get ahead of it so that he doesn't end up in Radley.
Well, yeah, there you go.
or with a Dean.
She
Or
says,
with a Geen.
there you go. She's like, he's different, not in big ways, but in little things. He looks, and I was like, you better watch what you say next, Spencer, thinking she's going to be like, sexy. But she said, there's a word that's lost all its meaning. But when I see him, it's what I think. Haunted.
That's what I think.
Okay. She almost said hot, and she had to pivot. She said haunted. He looks haunted.
For sure. And she's like, it's not just the drinking. The drinking is amplifying
Toby doesn't
whatever
think
else
it's
is.
drinking.
He
Yeah,
says it's more
yeah.
than drinking. Okay. Rosewood Times Square is where we go next. And
Lieutenant Butterscotch has asked the girls to chat.
yes.
And
she tells the girls that Cyrus is out and they're really nervous about this because they did technically have enough to identify him. It just was outside of the time frame.
But she's like-
so they still think he's the
she's
guy.
like, don't worry though, we're gonna catch him. Just really be careful and keep us posted. Let us decide what's relevant, which is pretty funny.
I thought that was a crazy
And then
line.
as she's leaving, she goes, oh, wait. I meant to ask you, who do you think killed Bethany Young?
Where are the
She
parents?
goes, you must have thought about it. How was she killed on the same night Allison was kidnapped? I'm just like, what? And Arya's like, I haven't given it much thought. And I'm like, that's the most believable thing she's ever said because she only has time to think about herself.
Exactly. And so then we go back to the Hastings Castle. We've scheduled the intervention that's going to take place. And Hannah tells Spencer that Tanner thinks Hannah makes a jump here.
Yeah.
That isn't a jump that Spencer needed to hear because she says that Lieutenant Tanner thinks that one of them killed Bethany Young, which, to be clear, isn't something that Lieutenant Tanner said.
I have something else that I want to ask about because Hannah then was like, yeah, Lieutenant Butterscotch thinks he killed her. Like, blah, blah, blah. We talked about it at the Mermaid Cafe. What the fuck is the Mermaid Cafe?
And why is there one in Rosewood?
So you're not, I was expecting you to be like, Caroline, we've been there a million times. Like, this is not something that we've ever, they're just casually now in season 5 mentioning a Mermaid Cafe that we have to add to our map of Rosewood.
Exactly.
Okay. What the hell does it look like? I don't know anything about it. Whatever. My God, we better go back there. Hannah fills in Spencer though. She's like, look, they're trying to draw connections, the Rosewood PD, and there isn't a connection. There's no findable connections from the girls and Bethany Young except where she died. So now there is a connection and no one fucking believes Allie. Toby answers the door. Someone knocks. There's like a package being delivered and it's an international airport. It's an international package. and it says personal and confidential. And I'm like, that is the fastest way to make me want to open something that doesn't belong to me. Writing personal and confidential for all to see. So Toby gives her privacy, and this is when we see that Melissa made her a video. And it starts with Spencer's favorite words, the 3 magic words. Spencer, you're right.
And we get this weird, at first it's just Spencer watching it. And then for some reason the director decided to get artistic.
What the fuck was this? I was like, wait, you want to know what I thought when I saw this? Because I'm sorry,
What?
you don't get to make artistic choices like this in a show that is this fucking wonky, okay? Because what I thought was happening is Spencer and Melissa planned this out, and like similarly to how Allie trained Cyrus, like Spencer made Melissa do this and film it, because the way they set it up then, as Phoebe mentioned, they like switch. So it shows Spencer behind the tripod filming Melissa as Melissa looks at Spencer in the chair. But it also, why are we doing this in the living room? We're filming this video in the living room.
The lighting of this scene it's giving a play.
Yes.
Someone is on one part of the stage giving a monologue.
Yes.
And then the
ghost
spotlight comes
of
on.
their dead wife is right there, or it's a murder show, it's a kidnapping kind of thing, and whoever is behind the camera is holding a gun. I was like, this is a vibe. It's like you are forcing Melissa to do this for your own motive, and then we find out none of that was true. And immediately, honestly, you could give me 5 business days to think of one good reason why they decided to do this, and I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I couldn't give
why
you
was
one.
that?
So what Melissa says is that she saw Spencer and Allie fighting that night, and she saw Spencer with a shovel. And so she was already starting to put pieces together that she thought fit. And then Melissa sees a body where Allie ended up getting buried, and Melissa just assumes that Spencer was the one who killed her. So she takes it upon herself to bury her without, by the way, making sure she's dead.
Oh my God. This blew my mind. I mean, but what I have to say is this is so older sister vibes. Like, I'm just like, I would do that. Like, if I'm sorry, let's say I saw you or Lily, you know, and I thought maybe you killed somebody, and then I see the body and there's like a gigantic hole next to it. Whoop. 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 That's me pushing the body. Whoop. I tripped and I kicked the body in there, and now I'm filling it up because it's called Help You Bury the Body, friend. That's what you want to be.
2 questions for Melissa. One, I already kind of mentioned. It's like, you didn't check a pulse at all. But also you didn't turn the girl over to see who it was. I know you just presumed it was Allie, but it's like,
well, I mean, I think, it was like,
you had to contort her body, her body that's not dead, by the way, and put it in a hole. So you didn't at any point see her face.
I don't think she had to contort it. I think she just pushed it. And also, I think it would be so like scarring, you wouldn't want to see the face. You know what I mean? Like, it would be like a dead body of your sister's friend who, and also she says everyone who ever made the mistake of touching Allie was there that night. So like, so many people saw Allie, saw her in that shirt, saw what she looked like. So it's like, I don't think it's that crazy. I do think it's crazy that she didn't know the person was alive, but I don't think it's that crazy that she didn't look at her face, because if you knew what she was wearing,
also do have a question.
You knew, like, it's your sister's best friend, like,
because
you know,
because now we have a continuity error here, one of thousands. We know that at one point Allie was buried.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Okay, that gets sorted out.
Okay.
Anyway.
But
so
so Melissa basically says, I buried a girl alive because I thought I was protecting you. And there's a point where you go from survivor to predator. I guess that's what happened to us. And then she says that it's going to make me cry. I don't know why this, like, I thought this was like the sweetest moment we've had from them.
Oh my God.
Because Melissa ends it with, I love you, Spencer. I don't think we've ever heard her say that or heard them say that to each other. And I just was like,
that's
I
true.
think as an older sister, like, and you could probably relate to both sides maybe, but it's just like,
Well, also maybe that's part of why they did that weird shot, because Melissa doesn't say that to Spencer
it's a
very
big
much. So, like,
moment.
Spencer really wanted to like feel like she was
Yeah.
there and like Melissa was really there talking to her. But essentially,
It's a conversation they should have had
yeah.
face to face, and I feel like maybe that
Right.
was the motive behind
but
that.
Spencer's so glad that it's on tape.
yeah, because you can
Because now she can
rewatch
watch it over and over
I
and
know.
over. So we started the scene off thinking that, knowing that Lieutenant Butterscotch thinks that one of the girls killed Bethany Young, but now we know that Melissa probably killed
That
Bethany Young.
is
So then we go to-
crazy.
I know. We go to the Apple Rose Grill and Caleb's not here yet, and they're trying to coach Toby to kind of ease into this conversation.
Well, no. They are no. Toby tells Spencer, do not make such a big deal out of this. He's the one who's like, you guys need to fucking relax. They're not trying to coach him. He's like, I need you guys to actually chill because you're gonna ruin this.
But what they're saying, they're like, okay, they are being dramatic, but what they're trying to tell Toby is like, let's not do exactly what Toby does.
Okay, yeah.
Because Caleb
Well,
comes
wait,
in.
did you notice? And I'm sorry, I have to touch on this because it's like, okay. Someone said, or Hannah goes, okay, we'll just play dumb. And Spencer says, Hannah. What? As if Hannah doesn't have to pretend? What was that? Hannah.
I didn't notice that. I hope that's not why she
Well,
did
I
that.
can't think of another reason. Yeah.
Maybe it's like, Hannah, we know what to
It
do.
didn't seem that way. It didn't seem that way. And I think you can tell exactly how it sounded because you know her voice better than your own at this point. And she said it in a shitty way. But yeah, Toby does
Okay.
immediately throw them under the bus. So you're right.
Yeah. Caleb walks in and they like are hugging and they're like, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. They sit down.
They don't sit
and Toby
down.
says,
Because I
Oh, right,
wrote,
they're-
you're
they're
not even
standing.
going to sit down.
Toby is towering over Caleb and says, so Hannah says you're having trouble sleeping? What's
Hannah's
that
like,
about?
I'm shocked Hannah doesn't like crawl underneath the table. Like, Hannah didn't say that. Oh my God.
And then Spencer looks at Hannah and is like, must be how boys communicate.
Ugh. And Hannah's like, I thought there was nothing like a bromance. But yeah, Caleb says, who died and made you Oprah? To Toby. And Toby is basically like, hey.
I hate this iteration of Caleb. He's so fucking
I know, I don't like it
annoying.
either. Toby's like, Hannah's going to walk away if you don't change. and Caleb's like, okay, well, Hannah can tell me that. He doesn't say that, but I'm like, no, she's not. And then this is where I really realize that Mose has no clue who she is because Mose shows up to the
We're at the
Brew.
brew. Emily's working.
and she's dressed as if she's going to a party where the theme was Grease, and she's dressed as Sandy
she's dressed
from
like
Grease.
Sandy at the end of Grease.
like hair, outfit.
But she's in a dress. The sleeves are the same as the outfit
off
that
the
Sandy's
shoulder,
wearing at the
yeah.
end. But she isn't of course in leather pants. It's just a
But
dress.
leather
her hair
pants
is
would
in the
make
same way,
more
and she's
sense.
got makeup on. For Paige, yeah. Not necessarily for where they're
No,
going.
but it's
though.
really bizarre. But I honestly thought at this point, I think I maybe told you that my mind went to, oh my God, like this is going to be a sad storyline where she's now like going on a date with a man.
Oh
and like
yeah, you did tell me that.
Because it's just so not like her that, and I thought that was the point they were trying to make was like, look how
Lost she is without Emily.
fish out of water, you know, like, yeah, like this isn't her. But I don't think that's what they're doing. And then even worse, okay, not Aria. Aria is dressed here as if she is Little Orphan Annie, but instead of being adopted by Warbucks, is adopted by Democrats. She is as if Little Orphan Annie was adopted by Joe and Jill Biden. That's how Aria is dressed, okay? She's wearing white bobby socks and black flat Mary Janes, a royal blue
she
dress.
looks like a Bouvier.
Yes. A royal blue dress and a belt. I mean, I'm sorry. It is literally Annie's outfit in blue.
So funny. So funny. So we're there and we find out Aria shows up and sees who's in the seats. The seat that she used to sit next to.
Mona. Ooh.
Because Ella canceled. And then, okay, I'm sorry. Aria has a moment where she looks so fucking homophobic. I can't even
at
believe
Paige?
it because
I know.
Paige walks in with her date, and obviously, like,
We know why
Aria
she's
in this
looking,
moment is
yeah,
like,
but-
that's not Emily, and that doesn't really look like Paige either. Like, she's confused. But to everybody else who doesn't know the dynamic here, it looks like Paige just walked in with a girl as her
And
date,
Aria,
and
yeah.
Aria is like disgusted.
And Aria, then it's not just when she walks in. Paige sits down, like sees Aria. Aria doesn't look away even when Paige looks at her. And Aria continues to stare at them like the whole time they're sitting. Like it really is weird. But also, I just want to ask Byron and Mike. No one thought maybe we should switch Mike and Mona.
Let's.
So Aria doesn't have to sit next to her.
Doesn't have to sit
like
next to
I'm
her?
sorry, this is crazy to me.
Or I also feel like that this would have been communicated in the family group chat.
Let me know because I wouldn't have showed up. And if Ella can cancel, so can Aria. And also Mike's wearing suspenders. Like, yeah, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, right.
Also, why does Mike gets the first dibs on who gets to use Ella's
Oh, yeah, that's
ticket?
actually shocking. Well, because they're like, well, if we ask Aria, she'll bring Z. All eyes on us, you know? Okay, so the boys are now talking at the grill and the girls are also talking. And Hannah, it's sad. She says that she's like upset because Caleb obviously feels he can talk to Toby and not her. And Spencer's like, he's probably just scared to tell you.
It's that when she says, what can he say to Toby that he can't say to
She
me?
goes, if you love someone, you should be able to tell them anything. And Spencer says, that's the theory. And I think those
Oh my
two
God.
lines from each of them perfectly sum up these girls. Hannah, so sweet.
Yeah.
If you love someone, you should be able to tell them anything. And Spencer, who grew up in a house of only secrets, is like, that's the theory.
Especially with what
I
just
know,
happened
like,
with
I was like, those
Melissa.
lines are perfectly written for these girls. Like, it just sums it up.
Then we go to the boys, and Caleb is I know he says to Toby that Toby's crossing a dangerous line, but Caleb, you're crossing a dangerous line with me, because Toby's like, I get it. I've been to that town. Like I know. And Caleb says, you were a tourist. I lived there.
I also like how he says, Caleb goes, if you walk around at night, I don't know what it is. Toby says something about like where you, I don't know if he's saying like, where are you finding alcohol? I don't know. But Caleb's like, if you walk around at night, you can find guys who struggle with sleeping too. Okay, what are we doing, Caleb? Like, are you trying to say that you're like going to that town that Jason was hanging out? Like, I'm confused about that whole thing.
And I'm also like, in this universe, as a teenager, have to buy alcohol like they buy,
like they're buying opiates
like from drug dealers.
Like literally, I'm not really getting that at all.
No.
Anyway, the storyline is wild. Like they're like, you'd rather drink than fix everything. And Caleb says he did stop drinking during the day because it scared him, and he can't say it out loud, and he gets mad and he leaves, and Hannah runs after him.
And he says, I should have walked away. I shouldn't have even walked in here. All right. So then we go back to the movie, and Mike and Mona are like canoodling or whatever, and Aria's watching it and is disgusted. And then she whispers some fucking venom to Mona, and we don't ever get to know what she said.
Baby, when she whispered to Mona, I was like, what could she I was like, surely this isn't anything mean. Like I was like, I'm sure she's just being like, so here's the tea. Like, here's what we think's going on. Like literally thought she was like filling her in. And I was like, no way. Aria's sitting there. She's literally sitting there like just in her little orphan Annie Democrat outfit.
Crafting
she's
the perfect thing
she's
to
like looking
say.
at Mose, and she's like, which one should I get? Which one should I just Mona's closer. Like it's I mean, I don't know what hate she spewed into Mona's ear.
Did she whisper into her ear, I wish you died when you fell
no,
off that
she definitely
cliff, because
didn't.
of what's said
She
later?
definitely didn't, because then apparently she's a complete
Never
180.
say that.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I go to the bathroom. Should we just wait?
Well, Mona immediately gets up and leaves and says she's going to go to the bathroom, but then she doesn't like come back. She's just like in the
Ariella
bathroom
is
for
like,
the rest of the night.
Don't look at me.
Weird.
know.
Crazy. And Paige also notices that Mona's like Mona left, and she kind of looks at Arya about whatever. And so then we go to the bathroom, and Mona says to Arya, Allie underestimated you.
Yeah, she goes, you were very good. You know
that's-
where to put the knife and you know where to twist it.
That is proof that what Arya said was so mean.
Well, I do think we kind of figure out at least a hint at what Arya said, because Arya apologizes and it like insults Mona. And I'm wondering if Arya said something about her family or her dad not liking Mona, because Mona responds and says, your dad should hate me. And like the emphasis is on should.
Yeah.
She goes, Mike deserves someone who is nice, which I am not. Maybe I should have just died when I fell off that stupid cliff. And Arya immediately, don't say that. Mona, don't ever say that. Okay, this is different. She's like, wait, an opportunity to be a social justice warrior and my little blue Democrat dress.
Arya just learned about Suicide Prevention Week, and it's this week actually. So it's the 1 week a year where she is gonna bully, but she does not want it to make you.
No, it's not gonna be about
hurt
that.
Yourself.
She's gonna bully you, but not about that.
This week I'm off. I'm off on that because it's Suicide Prevention
You
Week.
get to see another week, Mona. You live to see another week.
And so this is giving. Let's work it out on the remix.
It is. Oh my god.
Especially because how Mona starts to talk. She's
Mona
like,
actually wait.
oh,
Mona
so
said
much.
You walk like a bitch. When I was 10, someone said that. She
and it's
said
just,
that.
And then
self-defense.
That line specifically, it's just self-defense until you're building a weapon, is so Mona because she speaks about how everything started, and she was like, I was just trying to protect myself.
Well,
from
same
everything.
with forgot that under the icon was still a young girl from Essex. You forgot that underneath this new Mona was still that fucking loser Mona that you all bullied the hell out of. And you know what? People might even say you're alike. They might even say you have the same hair.
Hair.
They say we've got the same hair. I love it. I love it. People say we're alike. They say we've got the same hair. I love how.
Wait, that line where both sides of the coin the industry loves to spend, that's Mona and Spencer.
Oh my God, yes. And when we put this to bed, the internet will go crazy. Well, that's probably definitely true. When they finally all come clean.
When they all write their tell-all memoirs.
And then we get the front of me line. I'm glad I know how you feel, because I ride for you, Arya.
Ari? Do we think that these girls are influencers?
Like
after
as if this were happening today.
After they write their books. No, like if they're our age, they're the age now.
And I'll tell you exactly what kind of I'll liken them to people. So here we go. Hannah Marin she to me is giving Alex Earl kind of vibes. Yeah. Arya's giving homestead, Becca Martinez.
Yeah.
Homesteading, kind of influencing that way.
Liberal trap wife.
Running. Yes. Spencer is White House press secretary, so she actually can't be an influencer,
she's on Pod Save America every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's hosting a podcast also. Yeah. And then Emily is
fitness.
A clean girl influencer and fitness. Yeah. Kayla.
She's add me on Strava.
Yes, that's totally her vibe.
So yeah, we cracked it. And so we go back to the brew where Ezra and Emily are talking about. They're doing this in public, by the way. They have pictures printed out everywhere of the ATM.
Oh wait.
Situation.
I'm sorry. Can we have one more thing? I'm sorry. We have to mention from that because it's important. From the bathroom, Mona says, I've just been trying to survive. That's why I built an army. It's hard to compete with Allison De Laurentiis. And when Allie is done with me, she's going to come after you and the others. And she says to Arya, Allie can't trust you anymore after Cyrus in New York. And Arya's like, what the fuck do you know about New York? Doesn't know she knew anything. And Mona says, I know some things and I can guess at some others. And then she says, do you think Mike really likes me?
And they really did just work it out on the remix, I guess. And
they did, but I just think it's important that Mona knows about New York, so I just thought that we should mention that. Okay.
Yes, that's true. But at the brew, Ezra and Emily are looking over these pictures, and we see that the man at the ATM with Allie was Cyrus. And Ezra was able to find some stuff on Cyrus, but like under a bunch of different fake names. None of them are real. He's got some like charges under these fake names, whatever.
And she's pretty positive that Allie promised him something to do this, a special gift. Or she said Allie had a special gift for giving people what they want, which is classic manipulative sociopath shit. And then he's Spencer, and she is in the center of her house surrounded by windows, just rewatching this incredibly incriminating video from Melissa. And she starts speaking back to Melissa as if now they're having a two-sided conversation. She says, "You were always very good at leaving, Melissa. There were times when you'd walk up those stairs and I'd want to applaud." Is that how you felt about me?
No. She also says Melissa has a flair for a grand exit. And then she closes this whole scene out by looking at the screen and saying, poor Melissa.
Yeah.
Which I'm just not feeling.
She's like, "You thought I did it. You're the one who really killed her." Poor. I am feeling it though. I'm like, that would, and then the fact that like she's like tells Daddy Hastings and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." Like I'm not.
But you know,
I do feel for her.
You know, she's living that life, Von Dodge in London. I know she's to live
unless
with this
she's having to really, yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, she's got Hastings money. She'll be fine.
That's true. She does have Hastings money.
We go to Montgomery House, and
yes,
Arya is Mike back from dropping Mona off, and no.
Byron asks what happened with Mona, and Arya's like, "I don't know. We had a long talk, and you know what? I think things are gonna be just fine with Mona and Mike." Okay, Arya. What the
perfect.
fuck?
Now there's something in it for her. If she gives this relationship her blessing, she can keep control over what Mona does with the information she thinks she has.
Yeah, true. And then we hear the indisputable sound of a cop knock at the door. Lieutenant Butterscotch is here, and she has left a voicemail, but she wanted to talk to Byron.
Byron eats in this scene.
Yeah, he does actually eat. He's like, "So what do you want to talk about?" We'll just go through this part. And she's like, "Well, I've been talking to all the parents of Allie's friends." And he goes, "Yeah, and the friends with no adults around," which we keep saying, and yet it still keeps happening every episode.
He's like, "I haven't really thought," because she asks about Bethany Young. I'm like, "Sorry, Lieutenant Tanner, this is your job.
Yeah.
You can't just go knocking door to door asking the people in this town who they think killed this girl that none of them even knew. She's not even from here."
This is after a movie. So what time is this?
Literally.
That you're just making house calls.
Exactly.
It's kind of, hey,
but
for
also,
most people, it's really scary when a cop knocks on their door, especially
at night.
When it's outside of business hours.
And one of your kids is not in the house at that moment.
Right. Yes.
And
nor is your ex-wife, who also called off and you were supposed to like be doing something tonight and she didn't show. Like, yeah.
Exactly. So Lieutenant Butterscotch is like, "This town ranks surprisingly low on curiosity."
Ooh.
And it's like, okay, but like,
and he says, "Well, we expect the police to do their job."
Exactly.
Which I thought was a great response. I mean, yeah, it's wild. And he says, "You need to put your energy into finding the kidnapper that you released." And she's like, "Well, yeah, I'm actually really suspicious because the second we released him, he disappeared without a trace. So that makes me more suspicious." And she tells him homicides usually get less complicated as you work on them, but this one is getting more complicated, and that must be on purpose. And we find out that the police are interested in Arya, maybe with the homicide, for sure with the complications with the homicide, and she's just waiting for one of them to tell the truth. And then she drops the bomb, says, "Now one of you has. And I'm going to have a conversation with one of you tomorrow, or one of them tomorrow, and I'm not going to say who." And Arya is listening to this whole thing. Who do you think, Fee?
Oh, well, I think I have an idea. But I think I have an idea that the girls... I think that if Hannah went radio silent, all the girls would be like, "I guess it was Hannah."
Yeah, 100%.
And they wouldn't even think about it. So that we go to Caleb's cabin, and Hannah has been waiting there. And she says, "Well, I was waiting here to apologize, but that was an hour ago."
But now, yeah, she's so pissed. And he's mad too. He's mad she staged an intervention. And he tells her he can take care of himself. And she says, "No, you can't. This time you're wrong, and you know it, and I will fight for you if you trust me." Oh. I love them so much. And I'm just like, you're going through a rough patch, but this isn't you, Caleb. I know the real you. This just isn't you.
So the Hastings Castle, it's Arya, Emily, and Spencer, and Arya's filling them in on what happened, and they're like, who could it have been? And Emily shows Arya and Spencer the pictures that Ezra got of Cyrus and Allie, and they're like, is this enough to end Allie's lie? And Spencer then shows the girls Melissa's video.
Yes. Okay. And here's where I just completely was like, and you lost me because you go back to Caleb's. I'll go real quick through this, okay? Because I can't. We have an Ouija board, and immediately I'm like, yep, and that's where we'll check out. He's trying to explain what happened in Ravenswood, so naturally he needs the Ouija board to do so. And he's talking about, get ready for it, releasing ghosts. And he knew they were ghosts because the woods were filled with fireflies, and Grunwald called it a great ascendancy. And then after that, there were no demons, messages, revenge, or Miranda. So I guess Miranda was a ghost the whole time. Like,
yeah,
this is just what they had to do to put a pin in Ravenswood. They're like, we have to wrap it up somehow. Let's just get a Ouija board in the scene. And then Hannah's like, well, Caleb's all upset because he thinks he wasn't able to help Miranda. And Hannah promises that he did. And he's like, I'm not the same. And Hannah's like, yes, you are. And then he pulls up I think it's called a penchant. I can't remember it, but the thing on the Ouija board. And he goes, Ouija is not just a game. This is real. People turned it into a game and they forgot what it's really for.
Right.
Okay. And he tells her about this whole other world right past the corner of his eye and blah, blah, blah. He's afraid of his dreams, whatever. So Hannah's like, well, I'm not exactly who I used to be either. Notice the black on my hair.
She says,
and she basically,
she says, I didn't come this far not to have a happy ending.
They make out, and as they do, I guess the force of their making out moves the penchant on the Ouija board, which I didn't need to see.
The ghosts were like, I'm gonna take a back seat on this one.
It goes to goodbye. They're like, we'll give you guys some privacy. But I am like, if we were gonna do this, if you're gonna just have it move willy-nilly on the board, why not put it on the A? You know, like, why not just do that?
Yeah.
They did nothing with
but
it.
why do it at
it's
all?
Stupid.
Why do it
well,
at all?
Well, that's the better question. Then we go to the woods as if somebody's watching them through the woods, but then we see all these fireflies, and it's like, was it just a ghost?
It's like, wait, so you didn't do a great job of putting a pin in Ravenswood. If now we're like, okay,
yeah, great. Now we have to worry about this.
Perfect.
We have enough on our plates, Caleb.
Yes.
Okay.
But so
we
that's
could barely
the end,
take on your addiction issues.
That's the end of the episode, but it's interspersed with this last part. So we're at the Hastings Castle, and the video ends. Arya is ready to turn the bitch in. She's like, she is like, okay, we have it. Okay, we have it.
Melissa killed Bethany Young, and Spencer's like, well, and Spencer's gonna have her back. Which now I'm like, Spencer, you better fucking have Melissa's back now because she certainly had yours.
For you.
Yeah. And so they're kind of stuck on this one detail, which is that Bethany was wearing Allison's clothes. So was there a duplicate set of that yellow shirt? Like, and was it always someone's idea that Bethany would take Allison's place? Because how else do you explain that yellow top? If that is true, is that insinuating that maybe Allison's family, like, 'cause who else would, if someone's going to take Allison's place, it makes me think Allison was involved in that decision, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
It's true. Crazy if true. Emily needs to figure out a way around the pick of Allison at the hospital, but she says, we've got to get around the pick of A at the hospital. And everyone's like, what? You said A. And she thought she said Allison.
And it's like,
okay.
Okay, who cares?
You really mean?
All right, let me find.
There was, while you're looking for that, I'll just say there was Melissa and Spencer during their fake video conversation have a little back and forth where they quote The Tempest. Yeah. And I was like, this must have something to do with it. And I haven't read The Tempest, but I was looking it up, and the whole storyline is like the father can only get what he wants if he and his brother reconcile. Like, that's like the whole point of it. So I was like, that's kind of like a sweet thing maybe, but it's also a storyline of this father pulling all the strings, lying to his daughter, keeping her in the dark, charming her to go to sleep so she doesn't know the truth about things that are happening. And there are all these people on the island, but none of them know the other one's there. So I'm like, that makes me think of like the night Allie went missing. And yeah, it's just interesting. Like, that's how it all gets resolved, is through separation and reunion and illusion of justice. It's crazy. And they say justice is subjective. It doesn't actually mean the good guy wins. And the whole time I'm watching this episode, I'm like, not me rooting for the girls when, like, they are not necessarily the good guys here. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm rooting against Lieutenant Butterscotch, but like,
Because
she's
she's a little
the cop.
bitch.
she's doing her job. Like, she's doing her not well, but we can't be mad at her for trying to solve a mystery, can we? But yet here I am.
Mad at her.
So I don't know. I think that's probably the parallel between The Tempest, but it was interesting.
So the next episode is called Taking This One to the Grave. Arya, Emily, Hannah, and Spencer feel trapped and search desperately for a way out of a bad situation. Allison works on building an army of her own.
We've had enough armies built by young women in this show. Mona's army, Allison's army.
Leave that to the men.
Leave it to Dumbledore. Leave it to Dumbledore's army, you know? Like, leave it to the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Okay? Thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you for your flexibility last week. If you didn't listen to our episode last week, we did release our Outer Banks pilot recap, which is a pretty fun episode. And there's a video version on YouTube. It is the first, and who knows, could be the last video version we ever upload to YouTube. So get it while it's hot, people. Get it while it's hot. Make sure you are joining our Reddit page, whether or not you're in our summer book club, but especially if you are, because that's where we're posting big discussion threads every week. And we're currently moving into part 2, as I said in the beginning of the episode. The book is Nowhere Like Home by Sarah Shepard, so definitely check that out. We're going to be talking about it more and more and more. And then in August, you'll get your special full discussion episode. Can't wait. Please make sure to rate, review, subscribe, follow us, like us, get us on social media, get us on everywhere. Leave us a review. I think that's all I have to say. Am I missing anything?
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next week.
And
splat. Wait, someone commented on TikTok and splat. And I was like, okay, so now I don't feel like such an idiot every time we say it.
I
Because
know.
somehow you and I both made it part of every episode, but we both hate it.
We both hate it,
We're both
and I
"Great,
don't
we
even
really have to do this.
I don't even remember where it came from.
I don't either, but it's kind of just what it is now. And then when someone said it, and I was like,
Wait,
"All right, as
also
long as
I'm
it's
like, y'all
catching
listen
on."
this long?
That's the craziest part. That's the craziest part. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We love you. We'll see you next week. And we already said that, so we don't have to say it again.